game to get the win.
Well, first off, Mike, it's great to be with you. I love the Lil Wayne reference in the open right there. The New Orleans,
appreciate that. I appreciate
New Orleans, local. But that one for Fordham, really impressive to close that one out. You look at the second half, 44 second half points. They made 6 of 7 shots in that game. They were down for a majority of that one, but they fought back late to pick up a gritty win.
And on the other side of things, Tulane, one of the best offenses Fordham has seen so far this season. What are some of the keys to the game for the Rams heading into this one?
Well, it's not going to be easy. This is a top 100 offense in the country. All 5 starters in double digits, but I want to look at their 2 losses. That's where Fordham can take a blueprint to try to win this game. They shot 12 for 46 from 3, Tulane, in those 2 losses. So for Fordham, if they want to make this a game, they have to stop Tulane from beyond the arc.
The second road game of the season for Fordham tip-off. That's coming shortly, but before we get to that, yesterday, me and Ryan had a chance to catch up with Coach Ergo on today's matchup versus Tulane. Take a listen. Michael Calamari, Ryan Gregware here with Coach Keith Ergo. Coach, last time out, a come-from-behind win against Maine. What impressed you the most about your team's performance?
You know what? It wasn't our best night offensively, and we always talking about, not allowing making or missing shots dictate our effort. And, I think it really was a moment for us where we took the next step as a program, and our leaders like Darius Quisenberry, his positive energy in every huddle, just having a fantastic attitude, understanding it's a 40-minute game, and we talk about playing for 40 minutes. You're going to have those nights. You got to be able to grind those types of situations out, and it was a really big moment in our evolution as a basketball program and as a team, because I was blown away by the positivity and the energy in the huddles despite not having our best night. But you also got to give credit to Maine, their players, their staff. They did a great job. They came in ready to play, and they took it to us. Fortunately, we were able to wear them down, and inside 4 minutes take control of the game.
Now, last question, looking ahead to Tulane, a top 100 team in the country, top 100 offense in the country. What's the key to slowing them down and coming out with the win? Yeah,
it's obviously not turning the ball over, not giving them transition opportunities. That's where they like to get out and run. I mean, they average nearly 25 threes, something like 25, 26 attempts per game. 3 players on their roster average over 23s collectively. So for us, it's sprinting back on makes and misses, making sure we get our defense set up. And like every other game, it's about just trying to force tough contested 2s for 40 minutes. We got to find bodies once the shot goes up because they're going to crash the glass. And we feel like if we do that and we prevent them from getting out and running, and every time they take a shot, it's contested, well, hopefully we wear them down.
Coach, thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Back here at the Devlin Fieldhouse, tip-off coming shortly between the Fordham University Rams and the Tulane Green Wave. But first, let's give you the starting lineups. For the Fordham Rams, Khalid Moore, Darius Quisenberry, Kyle Rose, Abdul Singila, and Antrell Charlton. So the same starting 5 they've had essentially all season long. Who's the guy that needs to get things done today to get the win over Tulane?
Well, the continuity is very important with this team. And you look up and down, obviously all 5 guys are going to have to play well. I mentioned Tulane, all 5 starters being in double digits for them. But for Fordham, I look at Abdul Singila, a guy, the last 2 games, back-to-back double-doubles, followed up his career day versus Harvard with a 10-point, 11-point rebound performance. He's a guy, Tulane doesn't have the interior presence that he really brings to the court. So if he's able to kind of win that battle inside, winning the rebound battle for Fordham, I think he could be in store for another big game.
And on the Tulane side of things, the same starting 5 they had last time out. Sion James, the 6'6 sophomore, Jalen Cook, the team's leading scorer last season. Next to him, Colin Holloway, Kevin Cross, and Jalen Fort. So no difference with the starting 5 for either of these teams. They're going to roll out the same lineups, and both teams now head to the court. Fordham rocking their maroon jerseys with the white piping and the white lettering. Tulane with the white jerseys, the black piping, and the neon green lettering. So tip-off just a few seconds away. Fordham's bench is on the far sideline to the left, and Tulane's will be on the far right sideline as both teams get ready for the tip. Fordham coming into this game on their best start since 2015. They're going to look to get their first road win of the season, though. They're 7-0 at home but winless so far this season, just one game on the road against Arkansas, and they'll look to pick up that first win here against Tulane. Cross and Simbila getting ready for the tip. And we are underway. Ball in the backcourt. Fordham will have possession, moving left to right. Charlton, the ball handler, at the top of the key. Swing over to Quisenberry. Right wing, he'll get the pick from Khalid Moore. Charlton driving to the basket, mid-range jump shot. Off the backboard and no good. Rebound, Khalid Moore, up and it's in. 2-0 Fordham early on in this one. And here comes Tulane.
Khalid Moore, 16 points, 10 rebounds last time out. First career double-double for Fordham. Good start for him in this one.
Tulane, left wing here. Holloway, handoff to Cross. Guarded by Charlton, back into Holloway, left block. Mid-range jumper, no good. Rebound, Kyle Rose. Here comes Fordham, outlet pass down to Khalid Moore. He'll gather it on the right block. Over to Abdou Simbila on the elbow. He'll back down Cross. Lefty hook, rattles in. 4-0 Fordham, 19-13 here in the first half.
The confidence in Abdou Simbila, you see it right there. That's a shot he wouldn't have taken last year, but hits it with ease.
Kevin Cross, top of the key. Swing over to Holloway. He won't take the jumper. Back to Cross. Drive right lane. Mid-range jumper. Rebound. It's bounced around out of bounds, and it's going to stay with the Green Wave.
And Fordham doing a good job in this. When we mentioned winning the rebounding battle, that first possession, Khalid Moore on the offensive glass gets it, puts it back in. Abdou Simbila grabbing a few boards as well. So Fordham, a key in this one, Mike. They really do have to win it on the glass, and it's on both ends of the floor.
So inbounds play over to James. Trying to find Cook. And he'll have it. Pick and roll with Cross. Drive lefty. Guarded by Kyle Rose. Swing back over to James, right wing. Hand off to Cross. He'll be top of the key. Some nice defense here by Fordham. Shot clock dwindling down. 2 seconds. Blocked by Simbila. And the shot clock will expire. So an early turnover here for Tulane, and Fordham will have it going left to right.
How about the start for Simbila on this one? I brought him up pregame. He's already getting all over the stat sheet. The shot blocking right there. That's been another area he's really improved on throughout this season.
Abdou Simbila, 4 straight games of 2+ blocks. He had 5 against Harvard just 2 games ago. Here's Darius Quisenberry. He'll slow things down right around the Tulane logo near half court. Pick and roll with Simbila. Kick out to Khalid Moore. Now it's Kyle Rose. Step back. Won't take the jumper. Nice ball movement here by Fordham. Khalid Moore in the corner. Kyle Rose. Yes! 7-0 start early for Fordham. They lead with 18 minutes here in the first half. Holloway, left wing. He'll kick it back out to Cook. Back to Holloway. Drive baseline. Guarded by Charlton. Cross, the mid-range jumper, and he gets it to go. First points of the game for Tulane. They trail 7-2 to Fordham. 17:50 here in the first half. Antrell Charlton to Darius Quisenberry. Back to Charlton, top of the key. Righty dribble, now into the top of the key to Khalid Moore. Drives baseline, right block, pump fake. Won't get it, but he'll get James in the air, and he'll head to the free throw line now for 2 shots.
Great body control there. Khalid Moore saw an opportunity. The pump fake got Sion James in the air. He threw it up, and now he heads to the free throw line.
So Khalid Moore will head to the free throw line, coming off 16 points and 10 rebounds, his first double-double as a Ram last time out versus Maine. Dribble, Khalid Moore. Then to the knee, he goes up, and it rattles out, so he'll miss the first free throw.
And Mike, Tulane early in this one, off to a slow start. They're taking it inside like they typically do. They just haven't got the shots to fall.
And the second one is good for Khalid Moore, so he'll split the trip at the line. Full court defense here by Kyle Rose. He's guarding Jalen Cook. The kick out left corner. Holloway, pump fake. He won't shoot. Ball loose, and Simbila picks it up. Another turnover for Tulane. Charlton in transition. Near sideline, pick and roll. Kick out, Kyle Rose. Now Khalid Moore, far right corner. No good. Rebound there, Tulane. 8-2 Fordham, 17-12 here in the first half. Holloway left alone for 3. He'll take the jump shot. Front rim, no good. Khalid Moore rebound. He'll push it in transition. Here's Kyle Rose. He'll drive. Pump fake. Tries to get it in to the Fordham big man, but it's off the foot of a Tulane player, and it'll go out of bounds. A couple early substitutions. Tillin Pope will come into the game for the Green Wave, and Rosek Novitsky will replace Simbila. So some changes here in the 5 position.
And Pope, a guy for Tulane, he leads the team in offensive rebounds. A really nice depth piece off the bench for Ron Hunter. He's a coach who doesn't really emphasize getting big bodies. He loves wings that can move around the court, but Pope does a great job of driving the ball.
Will Richardson also checking into the game for Fordham. They'll find Charlton in the near corner. No good, but rebound. Khalid Moore. Now it's Darius Quisenberry. He'll reset it along the three-point line, and Cook hits Quisenberry in the face. A little hand check there, and it'll be a on-the-ground foul. They'll take it out of bounds. So, Ryan, a great start for Fordham. 8-2, 16-47 in the first half.
Really all you could ask for in this one. And Darius Quisenberry getting fouled there. Another solid 18-point performance for him last time out as he just continues to march along this year.
Darius Quisenberry has been that steady cog in the offense for Fordham all season long. And he'll try a three right now, but no good, and it's a rebound there by Forbes. He'll take it the other way. Slow things down, now to Cross. Right around the perimeter. Spin move on Charlton. Into the paint. Pope goes up and under, and he gets it to go. 8-4, 16-22. Fordham still in front. Richardson, now the ball handler, swings it over to Charlton. The pass almost intercepted by Cook, regained by Antrell Charlton. He'll try to make a crossover move on Pope. Nothing doing. Back out to Richardson. Shot clock at 12. Into a wide open Nowitzki underneath the basket, and he will head to the free throw line. He gets Pope up and is able to go right under, and I think it's going to be two shots unless the refs are going to say it was on the ground. So Nowitzki will head to the free throw line. Two shots for the senior.
Nowitzki wide open in the paint there, and a good find to get him inside. You look at his size, a clear mismatch in this game. He has struggled the last few games, just 4 total points over the last 2. So for him to get going in this one, get some confidence at the free throw line here possibly, that would be huge for Fordham this one as he drains the first.
And up until 2 games ago when we really saw Sabila have those breakout games, those back-to-back double-doubles, both big men were trading off minutes.
Yeah, it was more of a committee for this team, but as the seasons progressed, Abdou Sambila has been the clear guy that stepped up big time. But Nowitzki still has a role on this team. You saw him first guy off the bench, hits the second free throw there, so possibly a tandem, duo here in this one.
2 for 2 at the line for Nowitzki, 10-4 Fordham, 15:50 to go in the first half. Richardson guarding Cook. Pick and roll play with Cross. Cook, right dribble. He'll find a corner three for Pope, and he'll hit it. Pope hits the three, and it's a 10-7 Fordham lead now. 15:38 to go. So after a 7-0 Fordham start, now it's a 10-7 lead for Fordham. So Tulane getting back into it. Richardson now. He'll swing it over to Charlton. Kick out to Quisenberry in the corner. Some nice defense there by James. But Charlton regains possession. Pick and roll with Khalid Moore. Lefty dribble. Kick out to Richardson. Left wing three, and it's good. Will Richardson hits the three. 13-7. Fordham 15-12. In the first half.
One of the key areas for Will Richardson is not thinking too much there. Let it rip when you're open, and he did it right there.
So here comes Tulane. Left block jump shot for Cross, and he hits it the other way. So Tulane cutting the Fordham lead back down to 4. Just 6 minutes into the first half. So here's Antrell Charlton trying to slow things down. Drive here by Richardson. Nowitzki almost turns it over, but Richardson regains it. He's in the corner guarded by Pope. Now Charlton. Shot clock at 12. Corner three, Richardson. No good front rim. Batted around inside, but it's regained now by Cross. They're pushing it in transition. Nice crossover move by Cross. He goes up, and he gets fouled. Wow. Kevin Cross almost takes the top off this Devlin Fieldhouse, but he'll be fouled. But before that, we will head to a media timeout. 14.
Hey everyone, I'm Will Grant.
And I'm Chris Persianen.
And we're 2 of the hosts for WFUV's very own basketball podcast, Pick and Pod.
Tune in weekly for updates and our takes on the latest around the NBA, as well as exclusive insight from our very own Knicks and Nets beat reporters.
We'll have you covered on everything from all of the NBA's latest drama we know and love,
to debating all year long which team will get to lift that golden Larry O'Brien in June.
So don't miss a beat from the hardwood on WFUV's Pick and Pod.
Back here in New Orleans, as Tulane trails Fordham by 4, 13-9, Rams lead, 14:22 to go in the first half, and kind of the opposite, I think, of what was expected in this one. Fordham goes out to that 7-0 lead. Tulane able to cut it down, but it's still been all Rams early on.
This is the start they needed because Tulane's offense is so explosive. You have to get off to a good start offensively. We've seen Fordham at times this year head to that first media timeout with one bucket. You know, they've really struggled in that first 4 minutes of the game. You do look, though, Tulane's last game, they went down 17-8 to start, so similar in this one. And then they went on a big-time run. They had 3 threes, 14-0 run for them. They took the game over. So for Fordham, they have to limit that. You saw Will Richardson drain that three. The response to Tulane, that's going to be paramount in this one if Fordham wants to keep this one a game.
And another thing that stands out, Fordham getting scoring from 5 players already in this one, compared to Tulane, who just has 2 players who have gotten on the board. So everyone getting involved early for the Rams, and something that we saw some of against Maine after a real starter performance against Harvard, only 4 points off the bench in that one. You got a huge performance out of Zach Riley off the bench. Fordham looking to get more guys into it.
Coach Urgo talks about this team. What's different than last year, they have depth. He feels there's so many different guys that can come and give team valuable minutes, put buckets in the basket, and that's what we've seen throughout the year. You mentioned Zach Riley last game. Bit of an unsung hero for the Rams in that one, and you mentioned 5 guys in scoring for this one. Spreading the ball out, huge factor here for the Rams in this one.
So both teams coming back out onto the court. And something that has been a consistent theme throughout this season for both teams is the home court advantage. This season, Tulane is undefeated at home, and the same goes for Fordham. Not only has that been a constant this season, but in both schools' history across the entire NCAA, there are only 16 schools with 600-plus home court wins. The Rams are 14th on that list with 673, and Tulane is 13th on that list with 680. So they've done a great job playing at home so far this year, and they'll look to continue that here against Fordham. So Kevin Cross hits the first free throw, 13-10, Fordham lead. And Cross hits the second, so Tulane cuts down the Rams lead to 2. Will Richardson will take it, handoff to Antrell Charlton, but a nice defensive play there by Jalen Cook. He'll take the charge right around the half-court line. So the handoff play doesn't work for the Rams, and now Tulane will have it.
Cook, such a great two-way player. We know what he does on the offensive side of the ball, leading the team in scoring last year, 18 points per game, but he does it on the defensive end as well. Was top 15 in the AAC in steals last year, and a great body control there to get the foul to go his way.
So here's Jalen Cook, pass over to Kevin Cross at the free throw line. Now corner Pope, they'll leave him open. His shot no good, rebound Nowitzki. Kaya Rose, he'll push it in transition. He'll try to slow things down, drive into the paint, tries to finger roll it in. Romadine, the rebound, tries to go up, but his shot deflected, and now the Green Wave will push it in transition on the fast break. Floater, no good by Cook. Rebound Pope, scrambled around underneath the basket. Both teams on the floor. It's Nowitzki and Pope that are tied up, and the referee is going to call a jump ball here. So a tough possession there for both teams. He's going to stay with Tulane.
How about Pope rising up and getting that rebound with the possession arrow on Tulane's side? There were 4 Rams in the area, but he had the vertical to get up and grab that one.
So inbounds play here for Tulane. Fordham making some early substitutions. Romadine, he checked in after the media timeout. Will Richardson, he stayed in as well as Nowitzki. But Tulane keeping their same 5. Green Wave, handoff to Cook. He'll drive, baseline, handoff, cross, rejected by Nowitzki. Back up goes Pope. And they're going to call a foul. So after a great block by Nowitzki, Tulane gets the foul.
Tulane did a great job there of switching guys. It had Ross Nowitzki out on the perimeter, something you don't want to see if you're Fordham, but he did a great job getting back to the paint, swatting it away. Unfortunately, Tulane was right there under the basket. Pope threw it up. Kyle Rose, I think he thought he got the block there, but he's unable to get the call.
So Dylan Pope, a couple dribbles here, flips it in his hands, bended the knees up, nothing but net. So what was a big lead for Fordham to start is quickly been cut down to just 1 point, and Pope had a chance to tie it up at 13-32 here in the first half. Pope just had 1 point last game in 14 minutes. He already has 6 today. And now he has 7 as he sinks the second free throw, and it's tied up at 13.
And Fordham, they'll play defense like this where they let one guy absolutely beat them. And this team has so much depth scoring, but it looks like the way they've defended Pope early in this one, he's the guy that they'll let beat them and take wide open shots.
So half-court offense here for Richardson. He'll have it the top of the three-point line. Pump fake Quisenberry left wing. Now it's Kyle Rose. He'll take a three. No good off the front of the rim, and now it's a rebound by Forbes. Outlet to Cook, and they'll take it the other way. Swing back to Cook. Handoff, top of the key. Ball movement here. Now a drive by Cook. Now pass to Pope. He'll try to go, but blocked by Simbila. Second block of the game for the big man, and now Fordham will push it. Here's Kyle Rose. Quisenberry, Simbila backing down, right block. He'll try to create something. Right hook fading away, no good. And rebound now by Cross.
Absolutely not the shot you wanted to take him. Fading away from the basket, defender all in his face, and they'll advise attempt for Simbila.
Here's Cook, right wing. Step back three. No good, front rim, rebound Dean. Here's Darius Quisenberry. He'll take it near sideline. Guarded by Pope. Kick out Richardson. Drive, left baseline. Blocked by Pope. Here comes the green wave the other way. Chance to take the lead in the first half. Cook. Step back three. Blocked by Quisenberry. I'm not sure about that call there. It looked like there could have been some ball, but the refs are going to say it's 3 free throws for Cook.
Yeah, you're not sure about that call. Neither is Darius Quisenberry. Upset with the official right there, talking to him right now, trying to understand why that call went in the direction it did. And Jalen Cook going to the line for 3 free throws. Definitely not the guy you want to send to the line. That step back three he took right there. He loves that shot. Very efficient on that type of shot. So good job by Quisenberry to contest, and unfortunately for him, the whistle was blown.
And Cook yet to score today. Someone that's played just 2 games this season, but has scored double digits in both of those as he sinks the first free throw. And last season, in 24 starts for Tulane, he had 22 double-doubles. So someone they're going to want to look to get involved in the offense to get things going. So second free throw for Cook, it's good. 15-13 Fordham, 12-12 in the first half.
It's a great point on Cook because he's not just a scorer. He looked last time out 8 assists. So this is a guy when he's on the court coming back from a hamstring injury, also was battling the flu. He's a massive impact player. Both ends of the floor, not just in scoring, will pass the ball, will defend. He is the guy to look out for Tulane 100% in this one.
So all 3 free throws will be good for Cook. He'll take a seat on the bench. And James will check back in. So 16-13 Tulane, 12-12 to go in the first half. Here's Darius Quisenberry. He'll walk it up the court, right around the Tulane logo. Pick and roll play with Khalid Moore. Now over to Zach Riley, who just checked into the game. Khalid Moore, pump fake. He'll take a mid-range jumper. No good front rim. And it's a rebound there. Pushing the other way is Tulane. Little mix up there by Kevin Cross, and he'll turn it over. Some nice defense by Kyle Rose to force the turnover. But that's going to send us to another media timeout. Tulane 16, Fordham 13, 11:49 to go in the first half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting off in the A10, ECU heads to Temple in a big matchup in Philadelphia with tip-off at 1 p.m. Later on this evening, it's a battle in the Northeast with Providence taking on Rhode Island at 5 p.m. On to top 25 play. Top-ranked Houston welcomes St. Mary's, looking to move to 8-0 in the season. In the NBA, the Knicks tip off shortly against Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. On to the gridiron. Number 3 TCU takes on number 10 Kansas State in the Big 12 championship. Meanwhile in Qatar, Team USA is behind the Netherlands 3-1 in the knockout stage. Finally in the MLB, the hot stove is heating up as 2-time Cy Young winner Jacob deGrom has signed a 5-year deal worth $185 million with the Texas Rangers, jumping ship from Queens. With one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Joe Masters.
Back here in New Orleans, Tulane leads Fordham by 3, just under 12 minutes to go in the first half. And Ryan, early on, it was all Fordham. Now it's shifting the other way. Tulane starting to regain possession momentum in this game.
You're seeing why this is a top 100 team and a bubble NCAA tournament team. They can really score. So anytime you have a lead on Tulane, it's never safe. They can get right back into the game, but they're doing it at the free throw line early in this one, Mike. I'm looking at it right now, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. They're still not shooting great, 31% from the field. So that's an area where Fordham, they have to do a better job of not giving this team with their potent offense free opportunities at the free throw line.
And you mentioned Tulane as a bubble NCAA team. A huge part of that is their head coach, Ron Hunter. He spent 8 years at Georgia State. He won 3 Sun Belt Conference titles. And his last 5 years, he made it to the NCAA tournament 3 times, including 2014, 2015, a third-round exit in the NCAA tournament. So he's been a huge piece of this team, bringing them back into the fold in the AAC conference and a potential NCAA tournament bid this season.
He's a legitimate program builder. We saw what he did at Georgia State. We all remember him falling off the stool with the torn Achilles, his son in the game-winning shot, 2015 March Madness tournament, upset over Baylor. He's a legit coach. Tulane, every year he's been there, they've improved. This is his best team to date. He brought the same core back from last year, and it's a reason the expectations are so high.
And it's just his 4th season at Tulane, still in the midst of building that program, but a preseason favorite to contend at the top of the AAC, picked 4th in the preseason poll in this conference, a conference that holds potentially the #1 team in the country in Houston, so a very competitive conference that Tulane's going to look to win some games in. Play resumes here. Kyle Rose, now Zach Riley, guarded by James. Entry pass to Khalid Moore at the free throw line. One dribble to the right block, but he gets tied up, and it's a turnover there, the steal by Tulane. Here's Forbes. He'll find Holloway. He'll try to put a lefty floater up, and he'll get it to go. 18-13 Tulane, 11:20 to go in the first half.
Holloway loves the inside shot, and a really good angle right there. Get some open space under the basket and just throw it in.
So Quisenberry's looking to slow things down. Fordham trying to work in the half court. Here's Kyle Rose. Pounds past to Simbila. Tries to slam it home, but no good. Rattles out. Forbes. He sends it over to Coleman. Now James. Pick and roll with Cross. Cross top of the key. Moves his feet, no travel call. Backs down Kyle Rose. Tries to go up with it, no foul called. And it's going to go out of bounds the other way. Ron Hunter doesn't like the no foul call. And Kevin Cross is going to try to argue it, but he's not going to win that argument, and it's going to be the Rams left to right.
This is a good stoppage for Fordham. I really like that they're able to kind of reset here. Last possession playing a bit too fast, and Bila putting too much strength on that dunk attempt here. And now you have a chance, down 5, you're still 100% in this game to reset and get back into this one.
And the Rams making a clear effort to slow down the game, but Tulane trying to play him in the full court to speed it up. Rams get it over the tie line, and now they'll have a right wing 3 for Quisenberry. Rattles out, no good. Rebound Coleman, and they'll push it over the half court line. Coleman, now Cross Jr., top of the key. Hand off to James, guarded by Khalid Moore. Now it'll be crossing the post on Darius Quisenberry, the mismatch here. 2 dribbles, he'll try to go underneath the basket, no good. Back to Cross. Triple teamed in the paint, stripped away by Moore, and it's going to be out of bounds with 6 seconds on the shot clock. Tulane will have an inbounds play.
One thing you can't deny, Mike, Fordham's playing really hard in this one. You always hear Coach Urgo talk about 40 minutes of Fordham basketball. Even though they've struggled a bit this last 5 minutes, Tulane on an 11-0 run, you see bodies on the floor. They're fighting after every loose ball. That's what you really want to see it for Fordham, and it's what they're doing 10 minutes into this game.
And he talked about defending that Tulane offense, the ability to switch 1 through 4 and play tough, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. 3 by Coleman. Nice defense there by Charlton. It'll be a miss, and Khalid Moore will push it. Top of the key, driving. Kick out. Kyle Rose, he'll try to take it baseline, but they're going to call, I think, an offensive foul against Kyle Rose. And
they're going to say he stepped out on the baseline there, and those are the turnovers you could really prevent. Very preventable right there. You see the frustration in Kyle Rose's face, a guy who can shoot the lights out in that three-point quarter. Unfortunately, didn't even get a chance to do so.
James guarded by Kyle Rose over the half-court line. Rose pushing him in left. He'll drive left. Kick out now corner. Pope, the wide-open 3. He'll take it. Front rim, no good. Rebound, Abdou Simbila. Antrell Charlton. He'll take it over the timeline. Handoff, Darius Quisenberry. Some tight defense here by Tulane. Drive by Darius Quisenberry. Kick to Khalid Moore. Now Kyle Rose, the three. Rattles out. Here's Tulane. James. Over to Holloway. Kick out to Pope. He's left wide open again. No coverage there. On the floor is Darius Quisenberry, and it's a steal. Here comes Antrell Charlton. Over to Khalid Moore. He'll try to take a baseline. Back out to Charlton. Almost out of bounds. Nice defense here by James on Charlton. Crossover move. Kick out to Moore. Corner Kyle Rose. Spin move. Drives baseline. Gets underneath the basket and puts it in. A huge 2 points for Fordham, and they cut the Tulane down to 3. 8:52 to go in the first half. Here's Holloway left alone. Driving. Spin move. Foul called against Charlton. So back and forth affair now as Fordham finally gets on the board. 18:47 to go in the first half.
Fordham needed that one in the worst of ways. A big scoring drop for them. 1 for the last 11, 2 for the last 15 in this one. So their scoring has pretty much vanished. In this one, it allowed Tulane to go on that 11-0 run. Fortunately for Fordham, they got off to a good start, able to weather the storm with that bucket here, only down 3.
So Will Richardson and Zach Riley will check into the game with Darius Quisenberry, Simbila, and Khalid Moore for the Fordham Rams. But Tulane has possession. Cook with the ball. Bounce pass into Cross underneath the basket, guarded by Riley. He'll go up, a block by Simbila. That's his third of the game, and now the Rams will push it on the fast break. Darius Quisenberry drives, righty floater, up and in. A huge back and forth possession for the Fordham Rams, and now they cut the Tulane lead to just 1 point. So James will take it into the paint. Cross, wide open three-pointer, close out Moore, and he'll hit it. 21-17, Tulane lead, 8:10 to go in the first half. Now Darius Quisenberry will look to answer, and he does. 21-20 Tulane, 7:58 to go in the first half. Cook guarded by Richardson. Kick out Cross. Now here's James. Richardson guarding James in the post. Cook, three-pointer. Yes. Three-pointer after three-pointer here at the Devlin Fieldhouse. Darius Quisenberry, righty drive, step back, fakes the mid-range, tries to go into the contact, and he's going to get the foul call against Coleman. So right when we come back from this media timeout, it's going to be 2 free throw attempts for Darius Quisenberry. 24-20 Tulane leads, 7:33 to go in the first half. You're listening to Fordham Men's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Keenan Troy here,
with Nick Guzman,
and we're responsible for keeping everyone in the loop with the world of soccer, breaking it down weekly on FUVFC.
From the international stage to the domestic leagues, myself and Keenan focus on key storylines, the week's biggest matchups, and everything that the beautiful game has to offer.
Matty B. Monte, Michael Hernandez, and James Burley also lend a hand as we keep our finger on the pulse of the United States men's national team, as well as the build-up to the 2022 Qatar World Cup. You don't want to miss it.
FUVFC is a production of WFUV Sports.
It's 90.7 WFUV New York, listener-supported public media from Fordham, the Jesuit University of New York, on air, online, and always commercial-free.
Well, you heard the promo FUVFC, and they mentioned the World Cup, at least the build-up to the World Cup, and now that build-up has come to an end for USA, a 3-1 loss to the Netherlands, and I thought it'd be worth a mention on the broadcast for all our listeners that might not know what was going on, but a great season for the U.S. men's national team. But now our focus returns here to the Devlin Fieldhouse as Fordham trails Tulane 24-20. And what's been the key for Fordham? They've fought their way back into this, cut the deficit to 4 with just under 8 minutes to play in the first half.
Yeah, Fordham in this one, they weathered the storm on that tough scoring drop, but it seems like recently, every time they respond, they hit a big three, Tulane answers right away. That's what this offense does, Fordham, they can't get into this track meet. They can't go 3 after 3 with Tulane. They just don't have the personnel to do so. They need to make this game ugly, make Tulane uncomfortable on the offensive side of the ball, force missed threes, force them into frustrating shots, but they haven't really done so lately. But on 4 on the scoreboard, Darius Quisenberry, a good job to kind of force a foul right there, slow the game down as he'll now head to the line.
And one of the storylines we talked about before the game was Tulane's ability to win the rebound, win the turnover battle. They've won it in all 7 games this season. They're winning it again early on, 5-2, 5 turnovers for Fordham, only 2 for Tulane. And Fordham, that's what they're going to look to try to do, limit those turnovers, because it has been a problem for them throughout the year.
Yeah, and Fordham can't give Tulane any favors, and that's what you do when you turn the basketball over. You set up Tulane, a team that's so special on the offensive side of the ball, driving with easy looks. So they really have to do a better job of limiting those and keeping Tulane out of transition.
So Darius Quisenberry will head to the free throw line. Just under 8 minutes to go in the first half. Couple dribbles for Quisenberry. Spins the ball in his hands and off the front rim. So an odd free throw miss for Darius Quisenberry, who shoots over 95% at the free throw line. He'll get a chance to cut it to a 3-point deficit now. Second free throw on the way. And it's another miss for Darius Quisenberry as he shakes his head. Empty trip at the line for the Fordham guard. Crossover move by Cook. Pump fake by Cross, who now has it. Pope, the far corner 3, and it's good. Fordham is testing Pope to shoot it, and he is scoring. 10 points for him early in this game. Darius Quisenberry, he'll take it baseline. He'll put it high off the glass, and he'll make up for those missed free throws. He'll get the bucket on the other end. 27-22, Tulane still leads.
He makes that shot look so much easier than it is. The difficulty to fading away, throw that one up with 2 guys jumping over you. A great play by DQ.
Pope, another 3. Can he stay hot? And he does. Dylan Pope has been the story. 13 points in this game after just 1 last time out. Here's Richardson. Darius Quisenberry. Pump fake. Back to Richardson. Richardson trying to take it on Pope. Bounce pass to Khalid Moore on the right block. Now it's Richardson driving into the paint. He'll find Nowitzki on the far block. Quisenberry with the shot clock winding down. No good. Rebound Tulane. So that matchup zone of Ron Hunter creating problems from Fordham offense. The other way, turnover Tulane. Zach Riley in transition. Fordham has numbers. Khalid Moore tries to slam it home. No good. Khalid Moore almost has the dunk of the season for Fordham, but unable to get it to go, and I think it's going to stay with the Rams as they call a foul against number 23, R.J. McGee, who's just checked into the game. So 30-22, Tulane leads, 6 minutes and 7 seconds left here in the first half. Darius Quisenberry, the inbounder. Bounce pass. Right elbow extended, Khalid Moore. Swing around, Zach Riley a 3, no good. Khalid Moore trying to get the rebound, but they're going to say he stepped out of bounds. Tulane ball.
Frustrating series there for Fordham, pushing it in transition after the turnover. Khalid Moore, you mentioned, he got up on that dunk attempt right there. Coming back, the foul that goes Zach Riley's way, unable to hit the 3 on the other end. So Fordham not capitalizing right there on the turnover.
And Ryan, there's had to have been 3 nearly SportsCenter top 10 plays we've had in this one on missed dunks, but none of them able to cash in yet. Here's James driving. Kick out is Forbes. Back to James. Fordham in man-to-man defense. Cook. Handoff with Cross Jr. They've been working the pick and roll all game long. It's back to Cook, guarded by Richardson. He'll take it into the paint. Floater, and he gets it to go. The floater's good and the foul. So that'll make it a 10-point Tulane lead, and Cook will have a chance to make it 11 at the free throw line.
That's what makes Cook so dangerous, because he can shoot the 3 with anyone, 43%, but he loves that floater, getting guys off balance from beyond the arc, taking it inside, just floating it in. It works to perfection for him right there, and he's able to get the foul to go his way.
So he's been battling injuries this year in just 2 games as he sinks his only free throw. But in those 2 games, 23 points versus Charleston Southern and 14 points in their last time out against ULM. So he's looking to get back into his groove, averaging over 18 points. So 33-22 Tulane, under 6 minutes to go. Darius Quisenberry floats it into Abdul Simbila. He'll try to dunk it, rattles out. Romadine enters the game, can't get the loose ball offensive rebound, and now it's Tulane. Green wave, crossover, Cook drives into the paint. Kick out, ball movement, and it's a three for McGee. Front rim, no good, Dean. So here's Richardson moving it quickly. Between the legs dribble on Cook. Darius Quisenberry nearby the Green Wave logo. He'll get the pick and roll with Simbila. Back into Simbila into the paint. Kick out, Dean. Three-pointer, no good, off the rim. Fighting for the rebound is Moore, but it'll go out of bounds. And Tulane will have it. 4:46 to go in the first half.
You look at the scoreboard here now. Fordham down 11 in this one. It comes down to three-point shooting. 3 for 13. Dean, a good look there. And just as we've seen in this one, Fordham unable to capitalize from beyond the arc.
So here's James driving with the lefty dribble. He'll kick out. Three-pointer here for Forbes. Rattles in and out. Darius Quisenberry. Fast break. Loses the ball, and Cook will pick it up. Fast break Cook. One-on-one with Quisenberry. Blocked by Moore. Moore came out of nowhere to reject it, and now Fordham will have it in transition. Bounce pass Simbila, and he'll slam it home. Abdul Simbila slams home the dunk, and a big 2 points for Fordham.
And about time that ball didn't rattle out on the dunk attempt, as we've seen multiple times in this one.
High off the glass for Forbes, no good. Fordham moving it in transition. Darius Quisenberry high off the glass, no good, but he'll get the foul call. Kevin Cross was trying to reject that shot against Quisenberry, and now Darius Quisenberry will head to the free throw line after this media timeout. 33-24, Tulane in the lead. 3:59 to go in the first half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting off in the A10, VCU heads to Temple in a big matchup in Philadelphia with tip-off at 1 p.m. Later on this evening, it's a battle in the Northeast with Providence taking on Rhode Island at 5 p.m. On to top 25 play. Top-ranked Houston welcomes St. Mary's, looking to move to 8-0 on the season. In the NBA, the Knicks tip off shortly against Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Onto the gridiron, number 3 TCU and number 10 Kansas State are underway in the Big 12 championship. Meanwhile in Qatar, Team USA fell to the Netherlands 3-1 in the knockout stage, ending their successful run. Finally in the MLB, the hot stove is heating up as two-time Cy Young winner Jacob deGrom has signed a 5-year deal worth $185 million with the Texas Rangers, jumping ship from Queens. With one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Joe Masters.
Back here on the campus of Tulane University, and the Green Wave have a 33-24 lead and just under 4 minutes to go in the first half. And to give you some context, the Rams went out to a 7-0 lead to start this one, but their offense has slowed down and Tulane's has picked up.
Almost identical for Tulane last time out. Brought up the tough start for them early, them going on a huge run. That's what we've seen in this one. If they've done it on both ends before, you have to give them a ton of credit. You look at Pope, a guy out here averaging under 5 a game. He is 13 in this first half, not known for his shooting. Well, he's 3 from 4 from beyond the arc, and all those threes, Fordham has left him wide open, so you give him a ton of credit. He's been exposing Fordham, their game plan of leaving him open, and he's made him pay.
So Fordham trailing by 9, and under 4 minutes to go. And if you have to think about one guy to get things going for Fordham, who is that player for you that needs to start getting involved in the offense and try to help the Rams cut down this Tulane lead?
Well, it's funny to say because Darius Quisenberry is leading the team in scoring with 7 points, but I look at this one, how this game is going. Fordham down 9. Quisenberry, he has the microwave ability on this team like nobody else. He can get hot in an instant, so if you want to really cut this one before the half, end it going well, he needs to have confidence. 2 free throws coming up now, a rare 0 for 2 last time out from the line. He had 2 misses all season before that, so that was a surprise we saw right there. So for Quisenberry, if he's able to get hot, hit these free throws, hit a few shots, you feel good about Fordham making this a game once again.
And the Rams have got a lot of scoring from different players, but they haven't had that one player really break out for them. And it's funny you mentioned Quisenberry. If he can get things going, that would be huge for the Rams, and he's already leading the team in scoring. So 2 free throws for the man himself, Darius Quisenberry, coming up. So he'll have the ball, the charity stripe. spins it in his hands, nothing but net. So Roswick Nowitzki, Khalid Moore, Romad Dean, Will Richardson, and Darius Quisenberry, the 5 for Fordham, as the guard's second free throw is good to go. And for Tulane, it's Pope, Forbes, James, Cross, and the guard Cook. Bounce pass in to Cross, batted around. Quisenberry died for it in the backcourt. Cross behind the back dribble, and a near turnover now turns into a chance for the Green Wave. Passing around, Forbes left block, kick out James. Far right 3, front rim no good, rebound Nowitzki. Darius Quisenberry will have it. Pick and roll with Nowitzki. Pump fake, jump shot, and it's good. A deep 3 for Darius Quisenberry, 33-29. Fordham cuts down the Tulane lead.
That's what we're talking about, Mike. No one else on this team has the confidence to let that fly. Darius Quisenberry feeling himself right there.
A huge 5-0 run after the media timeout for Fordham. Cross, jump shot, over Nowitzki, good. 35-29, Green Wave. Will Richardson will slow things down, guarded by Sion James. Fordham working the half court. Darius Quisenberry, he'll tell Romad Dean to slow things down, and now he'll kick it to Dean. Khalid Moore, left elbow, he'll take it to the right block. Backs down the defender, tries to put a mid-range jumper shot up, no good. He'll get his own rebound. Here's Will Richardson, near corner 3, and it's good. A huge 3 for Will Richardson. And Fordham, they cut down the Green Wave lead to just one possession.
And how are they doing it, Mike? With the 3 ball, as we talked about, this is a Tulane team. They'll give up open shots. That's been their bugaboo this season. And Will Richardson right there getting wide open in the corner, drilling that one. Great to see from the true freshman. Darius Quisenberry drilling that one at the top of the key. And suddenly Fordham down 9 last time. There was a timeout, 3-point game in this one. They're right back in this one.
So Tulane offense, that's one of the best in the country. The same does not go for their defense, and Fordham's been able to score pretty well early on in this game. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the first half clock. It's just a 3-point game in Green Wave's favor. Kick out, Forbes. He'll try to find someone. He'll take a mid-range jumper himself, and he'll hit it. 37-32 Tulane. 2:12 to go in the first half. Will Richardson, he'll hand it off to Darius Quisenberry. Quisenberry slowing things down at the logo. Pick and roll with Nowitzki, a 3 himself, and he'll get it to go. You say Darius Quisenberry needs to get it going, and it's almost like he heard you. 2-3 since the media timeout. Pope in the corner, he'll turn it over. He can't corral the pass from Cook, and it's a 2-point Fordham deficit with 1:50 to go.
You feel this one really swinging back in Fordham's favor. Darius Quisenberry all of a sudden up to 15 points in this one. Making me sound good on the broadcast. Appreciate that from him. And you look at the scoreboard here, only down 2. Fordham, they're right back in this one.
So Quisenberry's been the guy. Let's see if he has a heat check in him. He'll take it to the right block. He'll decide to kick it out to Moore. Pump fake, tries to drive in to the paint. Won't get there, and his pass is intercepted by Sion James. Full court, Forbes tries to go down. Doesn't get it, and it's put back by James. So Forbes tried to throw it down, wasn't able to, but Tulane still gets the basket.
Good pursuit from James right there, in the right place at the right time to just put it back in.
39-35 Tulane, just over a minute to play. Darius Quisenberry over to Khalid Moore. Kick out Richardson, they're gonna leave him wide open. No good, back rim. He misses his 3. Now Cook will have it, just takes it over the timeline. Now he'll take it into the paint. Guarded by Nowitzki. His layup is good, and the foul. What a play by Jalen Cook. He'll head to the free throw line for one more. 41-35. Tulane lead with just over a minute to play in the first half.
You see Coach Ergo there on the sideline. He does not like that call. He's looking for an explanation. He's demonstrating things to the refs why that call was not the correct one right there. And a frustrating series for Fordham. It felt like they got momentum to get back in this game. But Tulane, again, Mike, as we've seen, they respond in a big way.
Tulane on pace for 84 points in this game. And should be known, Fordham's on pace for 70. This is a high-scoring game. And anything but defensive. As Will Richardson will have it. Clock ticking, 54 seconds to go. Double team by Tulane. Richardson will get it out. Darius Quisenberry going to take the shot clock down. Pick and roll with Khalid Moore off the foot of Jalen Forbes. So it's going to reset the shot clock to 20. 45 seconds to go in the first half.
Quisenberry widely there at the top of the key, slowing things down for Fordham. You don't want to play too loose in this one. You've seen Tulane take advantage when Fordham's playing loose, turning the ball over. They push it the other way in transition. So wise job here. 45 seconds left in the half. Be smart, be slow with it, and get a good shot.
So Coach Keith Ergo is going to take a timeout. So they'll talk things over on the bench with just over 44 seconds to go in the first half. We'll also take a quick break here at the Devlin Fieldhouse. Tulane 42, Fordham 35. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Hi, I'm Michael Calamari, reminding you to tune into New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch all the breaking sports news, hot takes, inside scoops from our beat reporters, and interviews with people around the world of sports. One on One airs every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on YouTube Live, and once again at night from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. on 90.7 FM. Want more One on One? Catch our Wednesday edition of the show, One on One nightly from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Twitter and YouTube Live. Join the conversation and tune in to One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. So Fordham comes off the timeout, a quick possession on the offensive end, and it was a mid-range jumper by Will Richardson to cut it back to a 5-point Tulane lead. Quick timeout there, and a quick Fordham offensive possession, and now it's a 5-point Tulane lead. So 42-37, Green Wave in front, 24 seconds now left in the first half. Ron Hunter's going to talk it over with his group and try to get one last chance here and try to extend this lead head into halftime.
This has been a very impressive half for Tulane. The way their offenses came out, the way their defense has turned into offense for the Green Wave. Really impressed with Ron Hunter's unit in this one. And you look, 42 points on the scoreboard. Now, Tulane this season, we've talked about them being 5-2. Those two losses, the only two games, they haven't scored 70-plus points. So that's the magic number for them. And right now, in this first half, they're well on pace to crush that number.
So Tulane will take it underneath their own basket. So they'll have to go down the court here with 24 seconds left. Jalen Cook will walk it up. Clock ticking under 20 now. 5-point Tulane lead. Can they make it a 3-possession game? Cook, the defenders Will Richardson. 12 seconds to go. He's taking it all the way down. Now under 10. 7 seconds left. Double team. Forbes. He'll take a sidestep three, far right corner, and he'll be fouled. Head coach Keith Ergo is livid on that call. It's going to result in 3 free throws for Forbes.
And that's something Fordham just couldn't do going into this half. You felt good about it, down 5. Now you're giving Tulane, a team who shot it excellent at the free throw line in this one, 9 for 9, 3 free chances to tack on to this lead. Not what you're looking for if you're the Rams.
He's trying to get an explanation from the referee, and I don't think he's going to get a good one. Not anyone that's going to make him happier with the call. And we didn't have a great look at it on the far right wing as Forbes hits the first free throw. But it's going to be a big 3 free throws for what was a 42-37 Tulane lead before halftime. Now might turn into a 45-37 Tulane lead.
Yeah, Coach Ergo absolutely animated on the sideline there. You saw Laskin out his first career technical foul as a head coach. If he's not careful there, he could be looking at number 2.
So 2 free throws for Forbes, both of them good, and now a third one on the way. Jalen Forbes averaging 18 points a game this season. Season high 26 points and 7 rebounds last game. And his third free throw is good, so the Rams will have 3.7 seconds exactly to push it up the court and get one last shot. Darius Quisenberry, he'll take it to the halfway line. He'll chuck up a 3, no good off the backboard. And that will send both teams into the locker room. 45 Tulane, 37 Fordham. The Rams trail by 8. We're going to send it back to our Rose Hill Studios for the 1-on-1 halftime report with Thomas Ayala.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the one-on-one halftime report. I'm Thomas Ayala. We're going to take you through the next 15 or so minutes just to keep you guys entertained. At the break, 45 for Tulane, 37 for the Fordham Rams. It's been an offensive struggle here in the first half for both teams in terms of who can stop the other one from chucking up all of these points. But before we get into this game, we're going to send it to a quick one-on-one scoreboard with Joe Masters.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting off in the A10, VCU heads to Temple in a big matchup in Philadelphia with tip-off at 1 p.m. Later on this evening, it's a battle in the Northeast with Providence taking on Rhode Island at 5 p.m. On to top 25 play, top-ranked Houston welcomes St. Mary's, looking to move to 8-0 on the season. In the NBA, the Knicks tip off shortly against Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. On to the gridiron. Number 3 TCU and number 10 Kansas State are underway in the Big 12 championship. Meanwhile, in Qatar, Team USA fell to the Netherlands 3-1 in the knockout stage, ending their successful run. Finally, in the MLB, the hot stove is heating up as two-time Cy Young winner Jacob deGrom has signed a 5-year deal worth $185 million with the Texas Rangers, jumping ship from Queens. With one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Joe Masters.
Thank you, Joe, as we welcome you back once again to the one-on-one halftime report. 45 for Tulane, 37 for Fordham. The offense really kicking into high gear. Probably, in terms of points, the best half that Fordham has probably played all year. There's a couple other games maybe you could identify, but this half has been exceptional for them so far. Darius Quisenberry leads all scorers with 15 points for Fordham. Will Richardson's thrown in 8 points of his own on 2 of 4 shooting from 3. Meanwhile, for Tulane, they have 3 guys in double digits between Cross, Pope, and Cook. Now, this Tulane team, coming into this game, they were 5-2. They're one of the teams projected to make a run for the NCAA tournament. And Ron Hunter's teams are generally, especially on the offensive side, very good. Defensively is always a question, always play small, but that is mostly by design because they would rather get back and defend in the half court. Oh, playing a team like this, Joe, that's so offensively talented, it's a good test for Fordham because it teaches, and this is a team that's not really, the three-point defense has been hit or miss so far. This is a good benchmark to see where they are with that.
Definitely, and if there's one thing you can take away from what's happened so far is that they're keeping pace offensively. They're not, 45 points for Tulane is definitely a lot, but Fordham is staying close, and we always knew it was going to be a track race with this Tulane team, but Fordham's trying their best with trying to limit that 3-ball and stay out of foul trouble.
Well, the biggest thing for Tulane as well is last year they had a really good season, 8-10 in the American Athletic Conference. And this year, as I said, they're going to try and take the next step, and that's go to the tournament. Ron Hunter has done a good job. Colin Holloway was someone who I was kind of singling out before we got on the air today as someone who could really do some damage. He transferred in from Georgetown, been averaging around 14 points since showing up in New Orleans, but he's only got 2 points today on 1 of 4 shooting in 6 minutes of play. But this is the thing with Fordham. They're trying to hone in on the guys that matters. Jalen Cook is easily their best player. I know he's been out a couple games. He's got 12 points. Jalen Forbes, 5 points so far, and he just had that huge triple free throw trip because he was fouled on a 3-point shot. And Pope was the guy who was seen as a non-shooter. Fordham's been playing off of him, and he's 3 of 4 from distance. So if you're Fordham, and I know that their reputation is to pack the paint, be physical, and play off of non-shooters, but sometimes this is just going to happen. It's just your luck of the draw.
Yeah, and you mentioned Pope coming into the game averaging 5.7 points on the season, 3 for 4 from three-point range, leading Tulane with 13 points. So that's somebody that it's going to have to be a second-half focus for Fordham going into the second half and trying to hopefully limit his three-point opportunities.
And for Fordham, they got off to a nice start. They were up 8-4 at one point, and then that lead diminished a little bit. However, the current trends, Fordham's 5 of their last 7 from the field. Meanwhile, Tulane is 4 of their last 5. Fordham shooting 38% in the first half to Tulane's 42%. So, like you said, Joe, they're keeping pace. It's a track meet. Fordham's doing a good job. But the big thing here, Antrell Charlton, Kyle Rose, and Rostik Nowitzki, all of them are in foul trouble. They all have 2 fouls so far in that first half. That's going to be something you're going to have to keep an eye on, especially if you're Keith Ergo, because Rose and Charlton are your glue guys. If you got two of them, and you really need the two of them for this whole thing to work.
Yeah, and staying out of foul trouble against this Tulane team is going to be key because they're really good at just making shots as it is. You got to help them out at all with sending them to the line, as you saw towards the end of that first half with that crucial foul and that three-point attempt. But Simbila, for me, is someone who's really stepped up with 3 blocks already. His presence in the interior is a bright spot so far for Fordham. But like we mentioned, like we talked about before, stopping that 3-ball and trying, if you can, to just slow down that Tulane offense is going to be a big factor going into the second half.
They're a top 100 offense coming into today. And Abdou Simbila, we have the stream up on the studio. There was one play where the ball was under the basket. The Tulane player would try to go up, and then Abdou Simbila comes flying from the 3-point line just to the basket. I'm like, there's no way he's going to block this, right?
Nope.
All of a sudden, these arms just reach to the sky, and the ball is just on the backboard. I'm like, what happened? It just didn't seem real, and it was quite hilarious, I do have to say, to watch, because that's the thing with him. The coaches talk about how good he can be defensively. I know Keith Ergo is on the record saying he could be the A-10 Defensive Player of the Year one day. He's got all of that potential in the world, but he's also been a stout rebounder. He has 1 rebound so far in this game. He only has 1. Against the Tulane team that is relatively small. That Joe, has to change, because if your best rebounder only has 1 rebound in the first half, you're getting out-rebounded 21-19. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but to Fordham, if you're going to win, it's going to be on the glass, and they have to just start crashing with authority.
Yeah, and you got to find a way to dominate something in this game. And when it comes to defense, it's going to be hard to stop them from getting their shots up. But when they do miss that top 100 offense, you have to be able to grab those rebounds and get going the other way. And like you said, 1 rebound, it's something that we haven't seen from Simbila yet today, but hopefully he can pick it up in the second half.
So picking up in the second half is going to be key, obviously. Fordham last year was a second-half team. They've been a second-half team so far this year, but the goal is, for them, 40 minutes of Fordham basketball. That's the brand they want to build, right? That's the thing that these coaches have stressed. For Tulane, obviously, Ron Hunter, it's just the offensive parade. It's almost like a 3-point Mardi Gras down there, if you will, getting a little New Orleans themed. But you got to find a way to stop the 3. I mean, that's been the thing that's killed Fordham. Tulane is shooting 42% from there. Fordham has taken 17 threes. They've hit 6 of them, which is, in all honesty, a revelation a little bit for them, because they're not known to be a shooting team. But when the 3s start going down and they're in this game like they are right now, they're down 8. I mean, you've got a good chance. And this is a team in the KenPom rankings. They're top 100 right now. This is the best opponent they're going to play since Arkansas. And if you can even hang around this game towards the end, I think that should be a huge, huge success.
Yeah, and then 2 more things to talk about. Tulane obviously up 8 right now. You can look at the free throws. Tulane's 12 for 12.
Yep.
Fordham's missed a couple of free throws. Quisenberry at the line there. That's going to be key. If it gets close in the second half, you got to knock down those free shots. But you saw Fordham come back against Maine earlier in the week, so they have proven that they can mount a comeback in the second half. It's obviously going to be a tougher challenge against a team like Tulane, like we said, a top 100 offense, but knocking down free throws, hopefully finishing some dunks. I know that's been an issue for Fordham in this first half.
Yeah, the dunks have been bad today.
So if they could do those things, knock down the free throws and hit the glass, I don't see why this Fordham team couldn't try to mount a comeback against Tulane.
Yeah, the dunks are curious to me because 2 of them were bunnies under the basket for Abdou Simbila.
Yep.
The third one was Khalid Moore. I mean, he just tried to yam it on someone's head, and that he missed it by, about half an inch maybe? About throwing it down. That would have easily been the play of the year for this team. But going into this second half, Joe Masters, I want your thoughts. Let's start with Tulane. What are you going to do in this second half?
Well, obviously, you got to stop giving Pope open threes, okay?
No, if you're Tulane, I'm saying for Fordham.
Oh, for Tulane.
Sorry.
For Fordham.
That's my bad.
No worries. If you're Tulane, I'd keep up what you're doing. You're getting to the line. You're finishing free throws. And I think, they got to have that swagger inside, that they know that they're a more skilled offense, a faster-paced offense. So just don't let the foot off the gas pedal. You just keep going with against Fordham on the offensive side of the floor, and they should be able to close it out.
And for Fordham, obviously they're down.
Yeah.
If you're Keith Ergo, what are you drawing up?
Hopefully some defense. And hopefully you emphasize some rebounding there. Like we mentioned, 1 rebound for Simbila, 5 for Moore, but Quisenberry should not be your second highest leading rebounder so far in the first half. So that's not a good look for Fordham. I think they're playing good offense. They're keeping up, so I don't think there needs to be too much criticism there. But like we already talked about, when you get to the free throw line, knock those down, but control the paint, control the glass, and at least contest some of these open threes.
Well, I'll give my quick 2 cents. I think you're right. Khalid Moore has to get more involved offensively. I mean, he's 1 of 5. Not the best splits right now from the field, but he has to have more than 3 points if you're going to win this game. Someone also needs to step up and help Quisenberry as well, just beyond Khalid Moore, because he's going to get his points just doing, things like being in the right place. Kyle Rose needs to start scoring. Charlton's got to put up some points. And I think Zach Riley, who was the unsung hero last game, and Dave Paulson, who we had on the post game, complimented him highly. I think he needs to start being more aggressive, because when he came into the into the main game, rather, the whole dynamic changed with him. So if anyone is going to get this start, it's got to be Zach Riley and Khalid Moore. They have to do their little Energizer Bunny act. Kyle Rose needs to get going. Antrell Charlton needs to put some points on the board. And for Tulane, I think for me, Colin Holloway, the transfer, as I mentioned earlier, from Georgetown, who's been a huge part of their success so far, I think he's got to hit double figures if they're going to try and put Fordham away, because the Rams can climb back into this game if they start getting super, super physical, and that can cause problems for a very small team like Tulane. And if Colin Holloway starts knocking the field goals down, it's going to be a real problem for this Fordham team. Meanwhile, looking ahead, maybe, at least for Fordham, they're coming up on A-10 play. They open up against Davidson on the 28th of this month. They have 3 more games before that. This is a good test of what they're going to see in the Atlantic 10. You saw in Arkansas, which is an extreme example, obviously. Dartmouth was an interesting one because all they did was shoot threes. Harvard was the closest thing they're going to see to an A-10 team. And Tulane, this is the same thing. This, in the long run, is going to help Fordham. Given the state of the A-10 right now, the door is relatively open for them to improve in the Atlantic 10 Conference, Joe.
Yeah, and even if you leave this game not having won, there are positives you can take away if you keep it close. You can say we came into Tulane playing a team that is highly touted on the offensive side of the ball, and we kept up. Obviously, you'd like to see Fordham come out on top here, but I think the main task at hand is just staying close and trying to install their presence on the interior.
Well, that is going to be enough from Joe and I. Thank you for joining us for the one-on-one halftime report. We're going to throw it back to the guys down in New Orleans. Mike Calamari and Ryan Gregware on the call. We'll see you guys for the one-on-one postgame report.
Thank you, Thomas. And we are back here at the Devlin Fieldhouse. Tulane leads Fordham 45-37. If you're just joining us, we are at halftime. And it's really been an up-and-down affair for Fordham. They go out to that 7-0 lead. Tulane then goes out to a double-digit lead. Fordham's within 3 points at once. And then a foul at the end sends someone to the free throw line. And next thing you know, they are down 8, but they're still in this game. But just, Ryan, give me your first half thoughts and what were your takeaways from the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, well, on the Tulane side of things, I was really impressed with what they wanted to do offensively. It felt like they were able to do so. They limited Fordham on the defensive end for a long stretch, and that one opened up a sizable lead, then played around with that lead the entire rest of the first half. I look at Fordham. They're not shooting great, just 6 for 17 from beyond the arc, and really, you have to keep up with Tulane. If you're going to give up points the way Fordham is, you have to match them. Fordham doesn't have the firepower to really keep up with them. Darius Quisenberry, he's doing what he needs to do, Mike. Outside of him, it's really been a committee. Will Richardson's second leading scorer with 8 points. You absolutely take that from a true freshman. But Fordham, they need to make this game more ugly, Mike. That's what I look at in this one. They're at their best when it's ugly, low-scoring, chippy, and that's not what the first half was.
And you mentioned Will Richardson having 8 points. He's played 13 minutes, and if you told me this was the distribution of minutes before the game, it would have been very odd. Kyle Rose under 10 minutes, Antrell Charlton under 8 minutes, but guys like Rosik Nowitzki, Romad Dean, even Zach Riley, Will Richardson, all getting into the game. And Keith Ergo, he's going to have to try to find the right lineup that's going to work for them, and that could be anyone 1 through 10.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they found it so far in this game, but Will Richardson, when he's been on the court, he's been an absolute impact player. drilling 2 threes. There was one in the corner that really sparked a Fordham run. So for him to keep it going, you look up and down the box score, though. Khalid Moore, just 3 points at the half. He's, a double figures guy for your team. He's been more of a second half player this year, 10+ points, and I think 3 to 4 of the second half games. So he needs to really get it going on that side of things. And for Fordham's defense, they need to come together and force Tulane to be uncomfortable.
So both teams heading back onto the court. The starting 5 for Tulane will be the same one that started the game for them. Holloway, James, Cook, Cross, as well as Forbes. And then for the Rams, it's also going to be that same starting 5 of Quisenberry, Moore, Rose, Simbila, and Antrell Charlton. Darius Quisenberry, the inbounder. Fordham moving right to left. Antrell Charlton guarded by Cook. Khalid Moore, top of the key. That zone by Tulane. Cook will fall to the ground. Moore wide open mid-range jumper, and the Rams start off the half with 2 points, 45-39.
That's the start he needed. Talked about it. A quick 2 points for him, for Khalid Moore to get going. Going to be huge for Fordham.
So Abdul Simbila manning the middle. He's guarding now Holloway, sticking to that paint area. Cross taking Charlton. Now it's Holloway, guarded by Simbila. Simbila playing tough defense on the right block, and he is giving a lot of his chest and being very physical against Holloway, and he'll get the on-the-ground foul.
I'm a fan of that play from Simbila right there. We talked about making it ugly, making it physical. That's where Fordham could have an advantage in this one. We didn't see them really capitalize on it in the first half, but you see Simbila there using that big frame to try to force something to happen.
Cross on Quisenberry. Righty hook, and it's good. Spin balls in to the bottom of the net. 47-39 Tulane. Here's Kyle Rose. Just a minute in to the second half. Khalid Moore, top of the key. Swings it over to the far right wing. Darius Quisenberry 3. Yes! Quisenberry stays hot from behind the arc. And now it's a 5-point Tulane lead, just under 19 minutes in the second half. Holloway, back out to Cross, inside the paint. Right block, Holloway goes up, gets the foul. They're going to call it on the ground against Simbila. A second foul to start in the second half.
And 2 quick fouls in under 2 minutes here. And Simbila's a guy, he has to stay in this game. You need that size on the court, so he has to be careful or not to pick up any more quick ones.
Lucky enough, he had no fouls in the first half, so just 2 for him on the game, both in the second half. Simbila on the perimeter guarding Forbes, off the foot of Forbes, out of bounds. It'll be Rams ball. So Khalid Moore, the inbounder, and Fordham playing well early on this second half.
And a shock in this one. Fordham is winning the turnover battle right now, 5-7. Not something we expected coming into this one.
And something they really turned around after that halfway point in the first half. Abdul Simbila in the post on the right block. He goes up with it, gets the foul call, and he's loving it. He'll head to the free throw line for 2 free throws. And head coach Ron Hunter is going to need an explanation on this one. But Abdul Simbila will head to the free throw line, shooting over 70% from the charity stripe this season. So a couple dribbles, flick of the wrist, rattles in. So Abdul Simbila coming off back-to-back double-doubles against Harvard. He had 16 points, 15 rebounds. Against Maine, 10 points, 11 rebounds. And coming into this one, 10 for his last 13 field goal attempts as he sinks the second free throw. Here's Cross, kick out to Holloway. Back to Holloway. He drives into the left block against Simbila. No good. Tipped around, and Darius Quisenberry will handle it. Here comes Quisenberry. Antrell Charlton. Kick in to Simbila. He'll slam it home. Making a huge effort to get him involved, and it's now just a 1-point Tulane lead.
Great start to the half for Fordham. You see they really came out with a fire to start the second half.
And Kyle Rose on the floor after it's off the foot of Cook, but Holloway will have it now. And it's intercepted by Rose. He'll push it. Now holds it up at the three-point line. Finds Simbila in the paint. No good. Rebound Moore, and he puts it back in. Fordham has the lead. They were down 8 to start the second half, and now they've regained the lead, 48-47.
That's how you start it there, Mike. A 9-0 run to start this half. They've played with fire. They've looked great here to come out. And now you look at it, you throw everything out from the first half. They got the lead in this one.
And the fight, the tenacity, they had no give-up attitude. They were right back in it to start the second half. And now they're looking at a 1-point lead. And it's really been Abdou Simbila who's been the key for this team in the past 2 games, and he carries it on into this one.
He's now up to 8 points in this one, and he's making Tulane uncomfortable inside. That's what we've been talking about. Fordham can win this game if they're strong inside. They have the interior advantage and the guys to match up that Tulane, frankly, doesn't. We've seen in the second half, they've really exploited that a lot more than they did in that first half.
And the big thing with him is usually he's a guy who affects the team on the glass, 8.5 rebounds per game coming into this one. He just has 1 today. But he's scoring the basketball a way he has never had in his Fordham career, and that's something that if you're Coach Keith Ergo, you love to see that out of your big man.
Now, Dave Paulson, when he talked to our guys after the win versus Maine, he said something very interesting about Samil that I think is applying to this game. He said last year he looked to try to be good at 10 to 15 things on the court. Well, this year he simplified the game. There's 2 to 3 things he wants to be great at. That's rebounding, shot blocking, and putting it back in, strong inside presence. That's exactly what we've seen this season. Like those 3 areas, even when it hasn't been the rebounding this one, it's been scoring the basketball, and he's really blossomed here in another very good start for him.
So it's a huge start for the Rams in the second half. Both teams still in the huddle talking things over. One of the longer timeouts, but still 17:48 to go in the second half. And for Coach Ron Hunter, what are you drawing up to try to stop that Fordham offense and get your offense going?
Well, one thing, you got to be stronger inside. You can't let Fordham really take their turnovers and push it on the other side, because we've talked about Tulane winning the turnover battle in their first 7 games. Now 8-5, they're trailing that. So you got to be careful with the basketball. Their front court defense is not what their skill set is. They make threes. They're efficient on offense. So get back to doing that. Jalen Cook, a phenomenal player. Get him going a bit. 12 points in this one. And Tulane, they should be just fine.
So Tulane has had their scoring come from primarily 3 players so far today. It's been Jalen Cook, who has 12 points. It's been Kevin Cross, who has 13. And then it's been the surprise Dylan Pope off the bench, who's provided 13 points. He's scoreless in the second half, but he was a major part of that Tulane lead to start things off in the first 20 minutes. So it's a long timeout for Fordham as Tulane is waiting for them at the court, but now the huddle is broken up and they'll head out onto the floor, and the same 5 will return to the court here. So it's going to be Tulane moving left to right. Under 18 minutes to go. Fordham with a 1-point lead. Full court defense for the Rams on the inbounds play. James will have it guarded by Quisenberry, and now it's cross back to James. Quisenberry, tough defense on James, handoff to Cook. Quisenberry will now pick up Cook. Fordham switching a lot in this one. Cross, pump fake, won't take the 3. Handoff to James. Corner 3. Pope, can he stay hot from there? No good. And now it's a rebound Fordham. Darius Quisenberry. He'll take it. Trying to look to shoot it. Won't. Finds Kyle Rose. Far corner. Yes. Gets pumped up from the bench, and now Fordham has a 4-point lead. Here's Cross Jr. Finds James in the post. Back out to Cross. Wide open 3. No good. Rebound Fordham. And it's Darius Quisenberry with it. Dribbles up, guarded by Cook. His long 3. No good off the front rim. Long rebound James. And a spin move on Quisenberry. He'll slow things down, though, and kick it back out to Cook. Guarded by Rose. Cook, left block. Pounds past Pope. Blocked by Moore. But they'll say it's a foul. And another one of those calls that I'm not sure went Fordham's way, but nevertheless, it'll be 2 free throws for Tulane.
A little frustration right there, but Fordham, a fantastic job defensively in this half. Tulane's had a few 3-point opportunities, unable to capitalize. Fordham keeping that pressure on right there, even when it looks like they have an open basket right under the hoop. You see Khalid Moore coming in, putting pressure on. Now, it didn't go his way, but that's just the tenacity that Fordham's playing with in this one.
Pope hits the first free throw, and Ryan, you're looking at those 2 starters. Antrell Charlton is still scoreless, but Kyle Rose was yet to really get into that scoring offense, but he hits a huge 3 there, and puts Fordham out in front by a pretty good bit.
He's coming off his worst game of the year, too. It was just 4 points. Didn't play in crunch time, but the coaches talked about he's such a teammate. He was rooting for Zach Riley in that game, who replaced him, at the end of that game. And to see him bounce back in this one, it's been a sight to see.
So Pope hits a second free throw, 2 for 2 at the line. Will Richardson will check in, and he'll move it across the timeline to Antro Charlton. Pump fake. Charlton at the free throw line, over to Darius Quisenberry, top of the key. Look at the pick and roll by Abdul Simbila. And long pass to Khalid Moore, who drives it into the paint. Right block goes up. He'll get the foul. And Khalid Moore slams his fist to the ground. He really wanted to finish that one for the and one, but doesn't get it to go.
Fordham will take that exchange still, though, with 2 free throws coming up. And Khalid Moore, his ability to drive for a 4, Mike, it's unprecedented. It's something we don't see, and such a treat coming over from Georgia Tech. He's able to just get easy baskets in the paint that necessarily aren't easy, but he makes them just look much less difficult than they are. And it's able to get those cheap points, get those free opportunities at the line. When you have a lead in the second half, you go on a route. That's something you need to keep putting pressure on Tulane.
Moore started 30 of 32 games with Georgia Tech last season. He's carried that straight over to Fordham, and he's been an impact player right away. Hits both at the line, 53-49 Fordham, just over 60 minutes to go. Richardson into the game, trying to push Cook left, and Cook will do so. Drive to the left, but he gets his floater to go. 53-51 Fordham lead now. Khalid Moore wide open for 3. He'll take it right wing. Yes, it's good. 56-51 Rams, just under 60 minutes to go. Here's Cook, guarded by Charlton. Drives it, left block, tries to find Pope. Off his foot and out of bounds. And that will send us to another media timeout. 15:44 in the second half. Tulane 51. Fordham now up to 56. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey everybody, Sam Davis here. Check out WFUV Sports on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at WFUV Sports, and Instagram at WFUV_sports. There you can find all of our content from our beat reporters covering all the New York professional sports, as well as clips and full shows from One on One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. For everything WFUV Sports, follow us on our socials.
Back here at the Devlin Fieldhouse, and this game took a big turn after that halftime came to a close, and Fordham now 19 points in the second half. They've only allowed 6 points on the side of Tulane, and they have a 5-point lead now, and the Rams are out in front.
And Khalid Moore in this half, he's outscored Tulane himself. 9-6 for him. Somebody we talked about being a second half player. He's fit that billing today, and in a big way for Fordham as they've 19-6 run to start the second half. Like, they have came out on fire on both ends of the floor, and it's been a sight to see.
So both teams still in the huddle, and Khalid Moore getting involved has been a huge difference maker for the Rams. And Darius Quisenberry, who's been a little more quiet this second half, still made an impact. He's up to 18 points. Khalid Moore at 12. And there are 3 Rams with 8 points. Abdul Simbila, Kyle Rose, and Will Richardson. And Tulane still trying to get back into that groove they had in the first half.
They haven't really found the rhythm at all here in the second half, and it's not a surprise. We saw them start slow in that first half. Now the problem is there's 15 minutes left in this game. You don't have a lot of time to afford yourself to play slow and get back into it. Now we know how dynamic their offense is, so only have 6 points at this time is a bit surprising. I'd expect them coming out of this timeout to find a rhythm, get a more balanced attack here, and make this a back and forth one.
So same 5 for Tulane. It's Forbes, Cross, Cook, James, and Pope. And then for the Rams, it's also their same 5 with Will Richardson at the 1 in place of Kyle Rose, and everything else at their starting 5. So outlet to James. He'll take it into the paint, kick out to Pope, and it's going to go right into the hands of the bench. And Ron Hunter throws the towel into the court, and he's upset with that inbounds possession.
Miscommunication there. James thought that Pope was cutting into the corner. He cut out to the elbow there, and another series of events where Tulane's not on the same page.
So here's Fordham. Darius Quisenberry have it. Khalid Moore, left corner, won't take it. He swings it all the way around. Now Antrell Charlton at the top of the key, trying to create something. It's on the ground. He picks it up. Kyle Rose, left wing three, no good front rim. It's a rebound, Abdou Simbila. He'll keep it alive underneath the basket, goes up with it, puts it in, but they're going to say it was a turnover. I think it's going to be a travel. Excuse me, it's going to be a foul against Abdou Simbila, and another one of those fouls that doesn't go in favor of the Rams.
Sometimes the physicality of Simbila hurts him right there. Being such a big frame and presence inside, you're able to kind of just using your body, the call could go in your way. Now he's picked up 3 fouls in the second half, as he'll take a seat.
So Rostic Novitsky will enter the game. Kyle Rose playing Cook in the full court. Here's Cross. Crossover move. Pope will have it. Hand off to Coleman, and they're going to say it's a moving screen. Great defense there by Darius Quisenberry to get over it, and now Rams will have the ball.
Once again, Tulane careless with the basketball. They're up to 10 turnovers in this one, by far a big surprise we've seen in this one. They average under 10 a game and already at that mark, 15 minutes left in the second half.
Well, while we know the Rams turn over the ball themselves, they force a lot of turnovers as well. One of the better defensive teams in the Atlantic 10. They're top 100 in defensive rating this season. Here's Darius Quisenberry guarded by Cook. He leads the team with 18 points. And now a foul by Cook on the floor. So there's been a lot of back and forth between players, referees, and another one of those fouls. And there's both teams now near the bonus with 4 apiece in the second half. So here's Kyle Rose to inbound on the far sideline. He'll pass it to Antrell Charlton in the backcourt. Back to Kyle Rose, who just steps onto the court. Pump fake Darius Quisenberry in the corner. He's double teamed. Finds opposite corner Khalid Moore. Pump fake near side. Antrell Charlton back up to Kyle Rose, top of the key. Novitsky inside the paint, underneath the basket, goes up with it. McGee block. Lefty hook, no good. And now it's underneath the paint, out of bounds. So a lot of effort on that end for Fordham to try to continue the possession, but unable to get the 2 points.
Novitsky had a good look under the basket there, tightly contested, but for him now, having to play crunch time minutes with Simbila in foul trouble, going to be huge to keep that interior presence going for Fordham.
So here's Cross, over to McGee. Cross with a wide open free throw line jump shot, won't get it to go, and it's another on the floor foul, so the referee is really trying to tighten up this game with another foul call.
And a bit of a ticky-tacky call right there. It'll go against Fordham's right, so Tulane will get another opportunity here to try to capitalize.
And another one of those with Keith Ergo's hands up in the air where you're not really sure if there was any contact, but it's another foul call. Here's Forbes, stripped away by Rose. Rose, fast break. He'll go into contact, a huge foul by Forbes, and I think they're going to potentially say this could have been a flagrant. They're going to at least say it's just a regular personal foul, but some of the Fordham players were lobbying the ref to take a look at it. So it's going to send Kyle Rose to the free throw line for 2 points.
Now Forbes picking up the foul right there. He's someone we haven't talked about a lot in this one, just 5 points, but last time out shot 57% from the field, drained 6 threes. He's one of the top scorers on the team, 18 points per game. You have to give a lot of credit to Fordham for really silencing him in this one.
So bend to the knees free throw for Rose. He'll get the first one to go. So Forbes fouled Kyle Rose, sent him to the line. Rose shooting under 70% from the charity stripe this season, but from behind the arc, he's shooting 44%. So in one way, he's one of their best shooters, but at the line has struggled at times, but 2 for 2 there. 58-51, Fordham in front, 14:05 to go in the second half. So it's an inbounds play there for Cross, and James will have it. He'll bring it up the floor. So here's Cross, free throw line, inside to James. He'll go up, strong finish for Sion James against Rostic Nowitzki for 2 points. Fordham lead cut down to 5. Here's Antrell Charlton guarded by Coleman, who's just checked into the game. Moore guarded by Cook. Outlet, deep three, Darius Quisenberry, no good, back rim. And a huge offensive rebound by Nowitzki. Left wing three, Kyle Rose, no good. Rebound Forbes. Forbes gonna slow it down, give it to Cook. Cook now, right block, layup, and it's good. And one. His third and one of the game. He'll go to the free throw line to complete the three-point play. And Coach Keith Ergo, once again, not pleased with the foul call. 58-55 Fordham.
The skill set of Jalen Cook on full display right there. He took that all the way. You see that burst of speed inside. Tough finish at the rim. Gets the foul as well. Tulane, a great series of events. They let Fordham take a few open threes. Fordham was unable to capitalize. Tulane on the other end, they were.
Jalen Cook now 5 for 8 from the field. He's a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line today. And he split two three-pointers today, so 1 for 2 from there. And his only free throw at the line is good, so now 6 for 6. And it's a 2-point Rams lead, and we're starting to get to that point where we're in for a great one. 58-56 Fordham. Darius Quisenberry left corner. Antrell Charlton into Nowitzki. Guarded by Forbes. Pump fake. He'll go up with it. And one Nowitzki. So an and one for Tulane on one end, and Fordham responds right back. It's Rostic Nowitzki, and he'll go to the free throw line for one more.
And that bench is fired up. Not one person stayed in their seat. Nowitzki, a tough finish at the rim. We talk about Sembiel being in foul trouble. Nowitzki picking him up right there.
It was a lot louder in this stadium for the Jalen Cook and one, and a lot quieter for the Rostic Nowitzki and one. So he'll have a chance now to make it a 5-point lead. 13-10 to go in the second half. With just 7 minutes played here, but it's been all Fordham. Nowitzki. He gets it to go, 61-56. So here's Cook, the ball handler, over to James. Wide open three. No good, rebound Charlton. Bounce pass to Richardson. Richardson up for it, and he's fouled. The fouls keep coming, the whistles keep sounding, and Will Richardson to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Love the aggressiveness of Will Richardson. Really hunt the ball inside. That's something we haven't seen a ton. I talked about earlier, overthinking things. We haven't seen that in this game. You love his aggressiveness to get into the paint.
Will Richardson with 8 points today. Has not been to the free throw line yet this season, shooting over 80% from the free throw line. Only averaging just under 4 points per game. He's played all 8 games, and he hasn't played less than 13 minutes all season. But really starting to have a scoring breakout in this one. So still 61-56, not able to get the first one. Bend to the knees, up and in, so he does connect with the second. 62-56, 6-point lead Fordham. Just under 13 minutes to go in the second half. So Will Richardson, tight defense on Cook. Cook, lefty dribble into the corner. It's James. James will slow it down. Cross. Won't go to James. Floater, no good. Rebound Nowitzki. Darius Quisenberry will slow it down. So here's Antrell Charlton, pump fake Darius Quisenberry. Quisenberry drives to his right, into the post. He's backing down Coleman. Tries the fadeaway mid-ranger, won't take it. Khalid Moore to the lane. Tries the finger roll, doesn't get it to go. Now Cross will push it in transition. Tries to find Coleman in the corner, doesn't do it. Picked off by Antrell Charlton. Down the way to Khalid Moore on the other end, who lays it in. A football pass by Antrell Charlton to find Khalid Moore, and it's 64-56 Fordham.
Both teams playing incredibly fast right now. It leads to a lot of turnovers and loose balls.
Cross, wide open free throw line jump shot, and it's good. Fordham has been leaving him alone all game long, but Tulane now cuts the lead to 6 points. Antrell Charlton will walk it up the floor. Here's Charlton, between the legs dribble, guarded by Coleman. He'll pull up from mid-range. Yes! Charlton connects, 66-58 Fordham, just over 11 minutes to play.
His first points in this one, and fitting it's on the mid-range jumper.
Cross, handoff to Coleman. He'll kick it out. James, wide open left wing three, no good. Rebound Moore. Here's Darius Quisenberry, drives into the paint, kick out. Richardson, three-pointer. Yes! Will Richardson connects. Tulane's going to call a timeout. It's 69-58 Fordham with 11:08 to go. We'll take a quick break as we head to a media timeout. You're listening to Fordham Men's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting off in the A10, VCU heads to Temple in a big matchup in Philadelphia with tip-off momentarily. Later on this evening, it's a battle in the Northeast with Providence taking on Rhode Island at 5 p.m. On to top 25 play. Top-ranked Houston welcomes St. Mary's, looking to move to 8-0 on the season. In the NBA, the Knicks lead the Dallas Mavericks 21-18. On to the gridiron, number 3 TCU and number 10 Kansas State are underway with the score knotted at 7 in the Big 12 championship. Meanwhile in Qatar, Team USA fell to the Netherlands 3-1 in the knockout stage, ending their successful run. Finally, in MLB, the hot stove is heating up as two-time Cy Young winner Jacob deGrom has signed a 5-year deal worth $185 million with the Texas Rangers, jumping ship from the Queens. With one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Joe Masters.
Well, if you thought this game was going to be all Tulane by the looks of it in the first half, it's been anything but in the second. 69 Fordham, 58 Tulane. If you're just joining us, under 12 minutes to go in the second half. And Ryan, just what's been working so well for Fordham?
You can't say enough about this offensive game plan. To have 69 points with this much time on the clock, we've seen the offense play well throughout the year, but this was a real statement game because if the offense didn't play well, Tulane was going to have their way with Fordham. With how good they are on that side of the ball, Fordham's been able to not only keep up with Tulane, but they've put the pressure on Tulane. I think that wasn't expected coming in. They've been shooting it great, 40% from three, and now all the pressure really is on the Green Wave.
And this Ram offense has been rolling, especially at home to start the season, averaging just under 75 points per game at the Rose Hill Gym. And that's the highest mark since their 1999-2000 season. But their only road game of the season came against Arkansas, and they were only able to score 48 points. But it's definitely a different story in this road game, already up to 69 points. And they've been led by 18 points by Darius Quisenberry, 14 Khalid Moore, and Will Richardson with 12. That's a season high for the freshman from New Jersey. And Kyle Rose already up to 10 points as well. So 4 players notching double digits.
Now, if you're Fordham, Mike, in this one, you have to keep the pressure on. It's early. There's still so much time left in this game, so you can't scoreboard watch just yet. I think the energy that Fordham plays with their identity, being a 40-minute unit, really suits them well in this game. We'll see how they execute that game plan here final 11 minutes.
So Tulane and Fordham back out onto the floor. Holloway, Cook, McGee, Cross, and Forbes are the 5 for the Green Wave. Same 5 for the Rams, Nowitzki, Quisenberry, Moore, Charlton, and Richardson. And Richardson guarding Cook now as he just crosses over the timeline. Cook tries to go over the floater, and it'll be tied up, and they'll say it's a foul against Will Richardson, and should send Jalen Cook to the line for 2 free throws.
Jalen Cook in this one done a great job getting to the line, 6 for 6 thus far. He'll go once again. Tulane, one way they can really get back into this game is at the free throw line without the clock ticking. They've done a good job getting to the line in this one and executing 15 for 15 from the charity stripe.
And the big difference for Fordham early as Cook heads to the free throw line for his first of 2 has been those turnovers. Fordham had 5 early on. Since then, just 1. They have 6 on the game. Meanwhile, Tulane has 12 turnovers. And as we mentioned, it's a Tulane team that's won the turnover battle in every game this season. Cook hits the first free throw. His second one is also good. So it's a 9-point Fordham lead. Just under 11 minutes to play. A full court press here by Tulane. But they'll get it to Charlton. He'll take it over the halfway line. He'll take it into the paint. He'll try to slow things down on the right block. Finds Nowitzki inside the paint. Kick out to Quisenberry. Pump fake. Double teamed at the three-point line. And they're going to call a 3-second violation against Rostik Nowitzki.
You saw Tulane ramping up the pressure right there. I think that's the right call for them. Fordham, when you trap them, they can get uncomfortable. They can get loose with the basketball. You saw it right there. Because of that full court pressure, they weren't really set on offense, and they got the 3-second call to go against them.
So full court defense, Richardson picking up Cook. Pick and roll with Forbes. Cook, floater at the left elbow. Rebound Charlton, back off the leg of Cook, and it'll stay with Tulane is the call. So still a 9-point Fordham lead, 10:32 to go in the game. Both teams had 7 fouls and into the bonus, so any foul at this point will send each team to the line. Something to keep note of. Forbes will have it, taken into the paint, reverse layup, and he gets it to go. A beautiful baseline move by Forbes, and it's a 7-point Fordham lead now. So the crowd's starting to get a little into it with these defensive chants. Antrell Charlton, crossover move, tied up with Cook, jump ball called, and it will go the other way, Green Wave possession.
And this is where experience really matters. We know Antrell Charlton, as the point guard, his first full season of really leading that unit. At times, he can be careless with the basketball when he has a pass-first mindset. You've seen these last 2 possessions with the pressure. He's had that mentality, and it's allowed for some turnovers for Fordham.
So Cook will have it right around the Tulane logo. Pick and roll play with Forbes. Corner Holloway 3. He'll back down Charlton, blocked by Simbila. Another block by the Fordham big man. That's his 4th of the game.
And he makes it look so easy. With that size, able to just rise up that long wingspan and swat it away with ease.
So now he'll guard the inbound play. And the stadium's starting to fill up a little bit. About 50% full, but it's starting to get a little loud. As Khalid Moore will take a pass off the foot, it'll be a kickball violation out of bounds for Tulane, but fans starting to get a little into it, some defensive chants and making some noise for Tulane. So 9:54 to go, 7-point Fordham lead still. Forbes over to Cross, left elbow, backing down Simbila, righty floater off the backboard. Now back into the paint for Cross. A second chance for him. He'll go up with it and foul. Barely misses it off the front rim, but he's going to head to the free throw line for 2 more.
A lot about this game has gone unexpected, Mike. That is for sure. But for Fordham to be winning the turnover battle and losing the rebounding battle, I don't think that's something anybody saw coming. A flip-flop of what we thought coming in, they'd be able to exploit. And they still have the lead in this one, so, it's not discouraging. But Tulane, they've done a great job of manning their own on the glass.
So Fordham has averaged just over 36 rebounds per game. Tulane just over 32. But the turnovers is a big disparity. Fordham coming into this game averaging 15 rebounds a game. Tulane just 9. And both those margins have flipped. So an unexpected outcome. Here's Cross, another free throw. He hits the second, so he'll make it a 6-point game. Misses the first, so a split trip at the line. Full court press by Tulane, putting the pressure on Fordham. Darius Quisenberry motioning his team to move out of the way. Finds Kyle Rose, who bobbles up the ball. Now to Antrell Charlton. Charlton over into the left elbow. Kick out. Kyle Rose 3. No good. Rattles in and out. Rebound Cook. He'll slow it down. Cook guarded by Rose. Pick and roll with Forbes. Finds Forbes beyond the arc. And his 3 is good. Forbes 3 cuts it to just a 3-point Fordham lead. 9-10 to go in the game. Quisenberry drives. It'll be tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rams. But Ryan, Tulane fighting their way back into it. Just a 3-point lead now for Fordham.
No surprise that we've seen. And that 3 by Forbes, first of this half for them team. And I talked about him earlier, 6 threes last time. So it was only a matter of time before he got going. Definitely someone Fordham needs to keep a lot of attention to these final 9 minutes.
And there are 3 players with 15-plus points for Tulane. Forbes is not one of them, but he's starting to get going. Charlton at the free throw line. Bounce pass to Nowitzki. Backing down Forbes. His lefty hook is good. Nowitzki playing big minutes for Fordham. 71-66 Rams lead. Now bobbled up in the backcourt. They're going to say it's a double dribble against Cook. I'm not sure if you got a better look at it than I did, Ryan, but an interesting play there. Cook was trying to work off the screen of Forbes, and he just lost control of the ball.
And it looked like Kyle Rose inadvertently bumped into Cook right there, trying to fight through that screen. So fortunately for Fordham, that pressure, that tight defense, not giving up on the play, leads them getting the ball back.
So Days will check in for Cross, who will come out and sit out for a little bit. So just under 9 minutes to play, 5-point Rams lead. They'll have it now moving right to left. Darius Quisenberry finds Khalid Moore, far right corner, no good. Tipped around, Nowitzki trying to fight for it, and it'll be out of bounds going the other way. And Ryan, it seems like Fordham's fought for every single rebound and almost come close to taking it away.
They're not giving up 100%, Mike. That's been a theme throughout this one.
So here's James, guarded by Moore. In and out play. Kick out. McGee won't take the three. Now it's Cook. He'll reset at the top of the key. Pick and roll with Forbes. He'll enter, tries to find Days, doesn't do it. And now it's Rose. Kick out to Moore. Out of bounds, and it'll stay with Fordham.
And Tulane, they're really ramping up their pressure on Fordham right there. We saw putting a hand in Khalid Moore's face, trying to do anything to tip the ball. Fordham, this is where experience matters. Darius Quisenberry, Khalid Moore, your older veteran guys, you want them with the ball in their hands.
Darius Quisenberry with it. Just above the free throw line. Kyle Rose. Antro Charlton now. He's on the right elbow. Guarded by James. Swings it into Kyle Rose into the paint. Doesn't get it. Nowitzki puts it back with the dunk. The Rams bench loves it, and it's a 73-66 Fordham lead. Rose guards Cook. Under 8 minutes and ticking. Cook, step back three from the left wing. No good. Rebound Moore on the ground. Foul by Days. Or at least I believe it's Days. I think they're actually going to say it was a foul against Fordham, and it will stay with Tulane. But we'll find out after the break. Fordham 73, Tulane 66. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's going on, everyone? This is Danny Scott, your New York Jets beat reporter. Join me all season long for updates, features, and analysis as the Jets' young core looks to take flight. Follow me on Twitter, dscott_33, or check out our WFUV Sports YouTube page for all things Jets.
Thank you, Danny. And now we return to the Devlin Fieldhouse, and Fordham up 73-66, 8 minutes away from holding on to their first road victory of the season against a tough AAC opponent in Tulane. And Ryan, what's been working so well for the Rams?
I mean, pretty much everything, honestly, with the way that they've had to play in this game. We expected if Fordham wanted to keep this close, it needed to be ugly and low scoring. Well, they've been able to go toe-to-toe offensively. The best performance we've seen of the year. The teamwork, the passing, they've been really in sync. As you mentioned earlier, they're diving for every loose ball. They are playing together. They are playing a 40-minute effort through 33 minutes. But the last 7 will dictate how this one goes, and we'll see what Fordham comes up with.
So it's truly been a back-and-forth game. Tulane held the lead in the first half. They had it up to 11 points. That was their biggest lead, and they held on to the lead for over 14 minutes. But now Fordham in the second half, their biggest lead went up to 11 points, and they've held it for 16 minutes. The lead's only changed twice, and it's only been tied once. So it's really been a tale of two halves. One was Tulane, now it's up to Fordham. But anything can happen in these final 8 minutes. It's just a 7-point lead for the Rams as Tulane awaits Fordham as they still talk things over on their bench. And Ryan, if you're Tulane, you're at home. You've gone undefeated at home so far this year. A team like Fordham, an Atlantic 10 team, is a good test for you as you move into your conference play in a few weeks. What do they need to do to start getting things going and try to tie up this game?
They have to play their style of basketball. They can't go away from the game plan. I know it really hasn't worked a ton in the second half, but they have so much talent on the offensive side of the ball. So to be just 1 for 6 from 3 in this half, it's very surprising to see. I think you stick with it. You have the talent. Jalen Cook on the drive, it seems like every time he's either hit the shot or gotten to the free throw line. So I'd stick with that if they were them. They have the talent, as I keep saying, So you can't really go away from the game plan here for Tulane.
And Jalen Cook, who's only played 2 games this year, it's hard to imagine this team without him running the offense. He's been such a center part of how they've been able to score, driving to the paint with floaters and ones, you name it, as Dace misses the free throw. But Fordham still trying to hold on to this lead, 73-66, 7:34 and counting. Charlton now has it, pick and roll with Moore, and they're going to say it's a foul against Moore on his pick, and Forbes fights over it, and it'll be a turnover, sending it to Tulane possession.
Fordham has to be very careful because we've seen these refs, they'll call every little foul in this game. There's been a few times where there have been, a slight movement here and there that have gone against their way, so they really have to buckle down here in the second half, keep Tulane out of the free throw line.
Cross will hold possession right around the Tulane logo. He'll dribble it to the free throw line. Now kicks it out to Forbes, right corner. Forbes taking a long 3 off the front rim, rebound Rose. Rose hand off to Quisenberry. They're moving along the fast break. Quisenberry far right wing. Now it's Charlton top of the key back to Quisenberry. A long 3 for Quisenberry. No good. Rebound Tulane. Khalid Moore tried to fight for it, but Forbes corrals it. Cross. Wide open 3, McGee. Off the back rim. Now another rebound by Rose. But this time he'll slow it down, hand it off to Charlton. Charlton guarded by Cook. Khalid Moore. The top of the three-point line, straight away at the basket. Lefty dribble on McGee, loses it a little bit. Picks up his dribble, finds Charlton. Charlton, behind the back dribble. Shot clock at 5. Moore pump fake. Shot clock at 3. Backing down Forbes, fadeaway mid-range 2, no good. And then it's an extended play offensive rebound by Nowitzki. Shot clock reset. Darius Quisenberry, he'll slow things down. They're going to say it was a double dribble. No, they won't. Charlton out to Rose, long 3, no good. Nowitzki fighting for it again, and he gets it again. Rose is calling for the timeout. They'll see if they say it's a jump foul or a timeout called. No indication on what it is yet. I think they're going to say it was a jump ball, though.
And this play of Rosik Nowitzki off the bench, it's been invaluable. You can't really make up how valuable and important he has been diving for every loose ball. That tip he got, hitting the ground hard, that's a big body to go on the ground, get right back up, come down with another offensive rebound to keep this possession alive.
And we were saying Abdou Sabila being in foul trouble was going to hurt the Rams, but if anything, Rosik Nowitzki has given them just as good minutes at the 5 position. So, whistle's blown. They're talking to head coach Ron Hunter. And the ruling is a jump ball, but they're talking at the scorer's table right now. And they're going to keep it as a jump ball, Fordham possession underneath the basket. Inbounds play gets it to Nowitzki. Now Charlton slows things down at the perimeter. Into the paint, it's Khalid Moore. He'll find a layup, and it's good. Shifty move in the post by Moore. It's 75-66 Fordham lead, under 6 minutes to go. Here's James. Cross, left block. He'll go up, a strong finish by Cross. And then Tulane cuts it to 7.
Cross can do a bit of everything on the court, particularly on the drive for a big man. Really impressive and a big answer for Tulane.
So Charlton now. He's guarded by Cook. They're going to hand it off to Moore. Fordham looking to hold on in these final 5 minutes. Nowitzki into the paint. They're going to say it's a foul against Nowitzki, a 1-and-1. And the foul's going to go against Kevin Cross. And Nowitzki will have 2 free throws.
And now you look at the free throw game. It's so important that Fordham capitalizes at the line. 13 for 17 on the game. Tulane shooting at a 90% clip. With the fouls picking up both teams in the double bonus soon, it's very important to capitalize with these opportunities.
And Kevin Cross with 4 personal fouls. 1 more would take him out of the game, so something to watch out for. First free throw, Nowitzki. It's good. He'll get a second one. 76-68, Fordham lead. 5:17 to go in the game. Nowitzki free throw. Back rim, no good. Rebound Cross. And he's going to take it up the floor himself. Pass over to James, give and go, back to Cross. He'll back down mid-range jumper on Charlton, and he gets it. Darius Quisenberry is on the floor, and he seems to be a little gimpy to get up, but he'll jog down the floor. It's his right knee, from the looks of it, that is causing him a little bit of trouble, but 2 thumbs up and he'll be good.
As tough as they come is Darius Quisenberry. He hits the ground so hard. He's constantly flying all over the place. You see him clearly in agony. He does not want to come out of this game.
And the leader of this team, a graduate from Youngstown State, came over before last season, was an instant impact scoring. He's on the sideline now getting looked at by the trainer, but the Rams hoping he can check back in as soon as possible. Rose, top of the key, Khalid Moore. Moore, right around the free throw line. He's going to back down James, a triple team in the post. He finds Nowitzki, pump fake Nowitzki. He goes up with it, can't find it, but the second attempt is good. Rostik Nowitzki, he's up to double figures now. 78-70 Fordham lead. Oh! Sion James throws it down. What a dunk by the guard. In a blink of an eye, he takes it the other way, and he takes the roof off of the Devlin Fieldhouse here in New Orleans.
And Mike, I think that shocked everybody on the court, maybe even James. He went from 0 to 100 real quick.
And we were talking about how there were a lot of plays that could be highlight reel dunks. And that's a dunk I think you'll probably see as the top 10 play later today. And what a play by James, and it's an and 1-2, so we'll have a chance for another free throw, and misses the free throw, so it's a rebound Charlton, but a huge momentum shift here on the campus of Tulane University. So a 6-point lead for the Rams. Here's Rose. Rose to Quisenberry, drives into the paint, floater, and it's good! Darius Quisenberry comes off the bench, instant impact, he's limping back on defense, but he gets the shot to go. Cook the other way, defense Charlton. Charlton heads to the floor, but it's going to be a foul on the Rams. And some chirping back and forth between Fordham and Tulane as we near the end of this one. 4 minutes and 8 seconds left. Game starting to really get physical. 80-72 Fordham lead.
Things getting very chippy, and you saw on that last possession, whistle was blown, play was over. Kyle Rose still went for the block attempt at the rim. Tulane did not take exception to that. Players had to be separated. This game, like last 4 minutes, 8-point game, anything can happen, but these two teams going back and forth.
So Cook at the free throw line, misses the first free throw, but 10 fouls for Fordham puts Tulane the double bonus, so another free throw here for Cook. It's a rare miss for Cook, who's yet to miss one at the line this season, and misses the second one as well. So empty trip for him, 80-72 Fordham.
4 straight misses from the free throw line for Tulane, doing themselves no favors.
Here's Antrell Charlton, finds Khalid Moore. Fordham trying to slow this game down, under 4 minutes to go. Moore, left elbow, kick out. Quisenberry, pump fake, goes into the elbow. Into the right block, no good, put back Nowitzki. He's been an offensive rebound machine for Fordham. It's a 10-point Rams lead. Here's James into the paint, blocked by Nowitzki, but they're going to say it's a foul. So another foul against Fordham will send Sion James to the free throw line after this media timeout. Fordham 82, Tulane 72, 3:32 to go in the second half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting off in the A10, VCU is at Temple in a big matchup in Philadelphia with Temple out ahead 18-11. Later on this evening, it's a battle in the Northeast with Providence taking on Rhode Island at 5 p.m. On to top 25 play. Top-ranked Houston welcomes St. Mary's, looking to move to 8-0 on the season. In the NBA, the Knicks lead the Dallas Mavericks 38-34 as they near the half. On to the gridiron. Number 3 TCU and number 10 Kansas State are underway with the Wildcats out ahead 14-7 in the Big 12 championship. Meanwhile in Qatar, Team USA fell to the Netherlands 3-1 in the knockout stage, ending their successful run. Finally in the MLB, big news coming out of Flushing last night as Jacob deGrom has signed a 5-year deal worth $185 million with the Texas Rangers. With One-on-One Scoreboard, I'm Joe Masters.
Back here on the campus of Tulane University, and it's a 10-point game. Fordham has the 10-point lead with 3:32 to go in the game, and this game is starting to get a little chippy between both teams. Very physical, but Fordham, they've been able to push back on the Tulane momentum shifts, and they're still holding on to a double-digit lead.
Really impressive. That dunk by Sion James, that might be the best play I've ever seen live. I'm being completely honest with you, Mike. But Fordham, what did they do after that? They answered right away. Darius Quisberry with a floater at the other end. Rossi Nowitzki with a putback dunk. He's up to 14 points, 9 rebounds in this one, brushing off the tough play there on James. And Fordham, that's what they have to do in this one. Anytime Tulane has momentum, they've done a great job, Mike, of weathering the storm, answering themselves, especially in the second half as they continue to maintain this lead now up to 10.
And Fordham has gotten huge efforts all game long from their bench. They had 12 points from Will Richardson, and they have 14 from Rossi Nowitzki. That makes up their 26 points that they've gotten off the bench, and those extra efforts have been the difference maker. Rossi Nowitzki, he has 9 total rebounds. He has more offensive rebounds than he has defensive rebounds, with 5 on the offensive glass. He's been a huge playmaker for Fordham.
And what's so important about those offensive rebounds, it seems every time he gets it, he's putting it right in. He's in perfect position to use his size, exploit the weakness of Tulane, and just dunk it with that 6'10 frame of his. He's been absolutely massive off the bench with Abdul Sevilla in foul trouble.
And the tallest player on the floor right now for Tulane is Kevin Cross, and that size difference was really the ability for Nowitzki to extend those plays, and he had 5 offensive rebounds, Ryan, but it felt like there were 2 or 3 that he almost got to that just went out of bounds or into the hands of Tulane players as Sion James sinks the first free throw. But Nowitzki will take a seat on the bench. Abdul Sabila will check into the game. So the starting 5 for Fordham will be on the court. And the same goes for Tulane, with Pope replacing Holloway. So their starting 5 will remain in the game as well. 82-74 Fordham, as the free throws are both hit by Sion James. Fordham will take it over the timeline. Antrell Charlton, Darius Quisenberry, under 4 minutes to go. 8-point Fordham lead. Quisenberry, guarded by Forbes. Now back over to Charlton, and they'll do a switch. Forbes will stay on Charlton. Now Charlton takes it into the left elbow, guarded by Cook. Mid-range jumper Charlton as the shot clock dwindles down, and he hits it. Back to a 10-point lead. Fordham answering back at every single pushback. Here's James, kick out to Forbes. Cross, hand off to Forbes, pump fake, his 3-point try, no good, but they're going to say it's a foul against Antrell Charlton. Forbes hit the ground after that three-point attempt.
And a late one called right there. And Antrell Charlton, I believe that is 5 fouls in this one. He might be out of this game.
So we're going to get confirmation on that. Will Richardson stands up, so I think they are going to make that switch. Keith Thurtle calling over his team. They're going to talk things over during the first free throw. Actually, it will be a timeout called by Fordham. And Ryan, what do you think Keith Thurtle's talking over with his guys in the huddle?
I think you got to stay calm. That's a foul right there. That's completely unavoidable. It sets up 3 golden opportunities for Tulane to cut this again to a single-digit deficit. So you have to really be composed here in this final 2+ minutes.
So Forbes to the free throw line for 3. And 3 points here would cut down the Fordham lead to just 7 with 2:48 to go in the game. Will Richardson will finish this one out for Fordham by the looks of it, as Antrell Charlton takes a seat on the bench after fouling out. Forbes' first free throw is good. So Nowitzki has 4 fouls as well as Simbila. So Simbila's in the game now, but a foul would put him on the sideline and most likely Nowitzki into the game. Forbes' second free throw is good. So a couple power dribbles by Forbes. Bends the knees, flicks the wrist, and his third free throw is good. He's a perfect 3 for 3 on his trip to the line. Full court press against the Rams. And they're going to call a foul off the ball. Coach Keith Thurgo just does not understand the call. It's going to go against Fordham, and it's going to be Tulane basketball.
Fordham putting Tulane right back into this game. And now with no Antrell Charlton, you don't have your ball handler. You don't have the guy that you have taking it up the court. It might be a true freshman, Will Richardson. It might be Darius Quisenberry. And you see a miscommunication right there sets up Tulane.
So gear up for these last 3 minutes. If it's just a 7-point game. Spin move Cook. Blocked shot Richardson, and Khalid Moore will have it. Richardson will push it up the floor. Down to Kyle Rose. Left block, up and under layup. No good. James rebound. Back on defense is Fordham. Tulane trying to push it. Cook, far left corner three, and he gets it. A huge three-pointer for Jalen Cook. It's a 4-point Tulane deficit. Kyle Rose triple teamed. Gets it to Quisenberry. They want to travel, they're not going to get it. Quisenberry goes up from the free throw line. Floater no good, but a foul is called that will send him to the free throw line. 2:12 to go in the second half. Fordham leads by 4.
Will Richardson there. Now you look in this one, you have to close this one out. Fordham, these last 2 possessions, trouble bringing the ball up. Fortunately for them, Quisenberry able to take it up, get the floater to go, and get the foul to go his way.
And when Quisenberry and Charlton are on the floor together, it usually seems like there is a more calming presence. You have 2 key ball handlers. But in the final minutes, no Antrell Charlton, it's really going to be Darius Quisenberry who's going to have to take on that ball handler role. Bend to the knees, free throw for Quisenberry. First one is good. 5-point lead for the Rams. If you're just joining us, we're in the final 2 minutes of the game. Michael Calamari here with Ryan Gregware. Fordham visiting Tulane in New Orleans, and they have a 5-point lead. No good on the second free throw for Quisenberry. Another odd miss for the graduate guard. The other way, Tulane. Sion James finds cross in the paint. Midline free throw jumper. It's good. It's a 1-possession game after a double-digit lead by Fordham. But the Rams will push it in transition. Here's Moore, double teamed in the corner. Finds Quisenberry in the paint. He goes up with it, and it's good. A huge finish by Darius Quisenberry, and the Rams lead back up to 5. Here's Cook, guarded by Richardson. He tries the 3, but it's a foul by Will Richardson off the screen. He's late to getting to Cook, and he gets his hand on Cooks, and that'll send Cook to the free throw line.
That's exactly what happened right there. A good play design by Tulane. A nice screen. Cook off the ball, was ready to let it fly. Will Richardson late to the contest, put his hands up, looked like he might have smacked the hand of Cook right there. Again, Fordham giving Tulane 3 chances at the free throw line. They have not done a good enough job of executing and keeping Tulane off that.
So Cook hits his first free throw, 87-83, 1:38 to go in the game. Fordham in front. Cook, second free throw, it's good. So the key here is because it was a 3-point attempt and the foul is made behind the line, he'll earn 3 free throws, so this one to make it a 2-point game. And Cook connects. So after having to full court press, now Tulane can play back on the defensive side of things, and Ryan Abdul-Sampila checking out, Rossi Nowitzki checking in.
And that's a move that I don't disagree with at all. But Rossi Nowitzki has been to this team off the bench. He needed a spark. He could provide it.
The crowd getting loud and on its feet. Will Richardson, the ball handler. Over to Kyle Rose. Rose to Quisenberry. Quisenberry guarded by Cook. Pick and roll with Moore. Pump fake, doesn't take the shot. Now it's Khalid Moore in the isolation. Takes it down to the right block. Pump fake, puts it up, and it's in. Khalid Moore hits a huge jump shot from the block. It's 89-85 Fordham. Sion James the other way. Over to cross, top of the key. Forbes backing down Quisenberry. A huge charging foul against Forbes. What a play by Darius Quisenberry. And it's Fordham ball up 4.
Darius Quisenberry, he's a winner. He will do whatever it takes to win a basketball game. You know he's hurting right now. It doesn't matter. He hits the floor and gets the foul to go Fordham's way.
What a job by Darius Quisenberry. He's really come alive here in the second half. He had a huge first half, but the leadership he's shown, gets banged up, gets checked out, hobbling around, comes in, makes a bunch of huge baskets, and then now a huge defensive play. And 1 minute and 4 seconds on the clock, 4-point lead for the Rams, and Fordham now huddling up at the timeout called. What is Keith Ergo drawing up for his team?
This is a real statement for this coaching staff, particularly Coach Ergo. This is the first true moment where you've seen crunch time versus a possibly more superior team. How are you going to be able to close out this final minute? I think on the offensive side of things, I know he's hurting, Mike, but Darius Quisbury needs the ball in his hands. He is the guy for this team. He's been it today. The leadership that he shows, the heart that he has when he plays on the court, it's unprecedented, and I think whatever happens, it needs to ride or die with Darius Quisbury.
And Fordham has a 4-point lead now with a minute left, and this is a tough Tulane team in the AAC conference. Last season, they went 17-12 with a 10-7 record in conference. And after a first-round bye, they upset number 4 Temple in the first round of the AAC conference before eventually losing to Houston in the semifinals, which is now one of the best teams in the country. So they've had success at this level in the past. They've returned 89% of their scoring from last season. This is a team that is expected to win a lot of games in their conference this season and make a potential bid at the tournament. And Fordham holds a 4-point lead with a minute left. Kyle Rose, the inbounder, guarded by Cross, finding Khalid Moore. He's guarding the full court. Now it's Kyle Rose. He's going to try to dribble it up. He finds Darius Quisbury near sideline. Quisbury at the logo. He finally gets it over the timeline. He slows it down. 20 seconds on the shot clock, 52 on the game. Here's Darius Quisbury, bumped a little bit by Cook, slowing things down. Now the shot clock under 10 seconds. Taking his time, driving, right wing, nothing, 5-second shot clock. Taking it to the free throw line, floater no good. It's hit out of bounds. And they're not going to call a foul. They're going to say it went out of bounds against Tulane, but 1 second left. So Fordham's got to get an interesting play call right now to try to get a good shot up. And they're going to call a timeout to draw something up with 35 seconds left on the game clock. And Ryan, I don't think neither of us are coaches. Neither of us have play designs that we know to put into effect with 1 second left. But if you had anything you can think of, what's the move for Fordham?
Well, as we said right there, ride or die with Darius Quisbury. Unfortunately, out of bounds. Now you get another opportunity. I do the same thing. Maybe set up a screen, get him into the corner, take a shot. You got to be tough, though. I don't know how long of a second this is. It looks like it possibly could have been a shot clock violation, so I can't imagine it's too much time. Whatever you do, Mike, you need to make sure you get a shot off.
And this is where any second is the difference, whether it's 1 second, 0.6 of a second, 0.4 of a second, all that could matter.
And I mean, they're calling their timeout, so clearly it is, right? It's really a game of inches, and every little play matters so much.
And I think the other thing you have to think about if you're Fordham is, do you want a potential shot putting yourself in a bad position defensively on the other end? Coach Ergo talked a lot about their turnovers. He's mentioned dead ball turnovers are the best ones his team can afford to give up. And even a shot clock violation here with the 2-possession game would not be the worst thing for Fordham.
And I think that's a very important point. And I'm sure in the huddle right now, one of the emphasis, whatever happens, you got to get set right away on defense.
And a long three could put Fordham in a poor position. So we'll see what they decide to line up, but also a 3-point make could make this a 92-85 game. So an interesting play call here. It looks like the Fordham coaches are all gathered around the scores table. They're trying to figure out how much time they exactly have left. Now the referees are huddling up, and I'm starting to think, depending on how much time's left, that also changes the play call.
100%. The difference between 1.9 seconds and 0.4 seconds, it's so drastic, and I'm sure that's why they need clarification right now.
So I think something that, out of everything, was the most unexpected thing we got was that it's not actually Fordham basketball. It's going to be Green Wave basketball. They took a look at it at the replay, and they ruled that it was out on Fordham, and now we'll reset the shot clock. 5-second difference between the shot and game clock, so Tulane can take this down, but there will still be 5 seconds left for Fordham, but nevertheless, it's still a 2-possession game. They'll need a quick basket here. Full court defense by Rose. Cook, the ball handler. Pick and roll with Forbes. Cook 3, blocked by Rose. Rebound Simbila. He'll be fouled immediately. And a huge defensive possession there by Rose. And Abdou Simbila now with a chance to the free throw line.
No surprise right there. Kyle Rose playing tough defense. He's the best man-to-man defender on this team.
And Abdul Simbila will head to the free throw line. And we mentioned how he's been great for this team this season. Both big men have been playing huge minutes for Fordham. And it's been one of the storylines for them throughout the season. Simbila with 8 points, 5 rebounds. He's also 2 for 2 at the line. Shooting over 75% from the charity stripe this season. First free throw is good. A huge point there for Simbila. Another one here could now make it 91-85. And really give some comfort room for Fordham. And a big 2-possession game. Second free throw is good. 91-85. Here comes Tulane. Cook with it, guarded by Rose, full court, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Cross into the paint. He'll side it up and he'll dunk it home. And they'll call a foul against Simbila. I don't know what the foul's for, Ryan. Abdul Simbila did not really contest on the dunk attempt. So it's really an interesting call there, but now it could be a 3-point play for Cross.
That was the one thing you could not afford to do if you're Fordham. Not only does that foul out Abdul Simbila, but that makes this real potentially a one-possession game. You saw him. He tried to back off the defender. Unfortunately not able to get the call. This coaching staff in disbelief.
And Cross now with a chance to make this a one-possession game, 91-88. Currently it's 91-87 with 17.4 seconds to go. Cross's free throw. It's good. So no timeout for the Rams. They have 2 remaining, but they won't elect to take one. Rose, the inbounder. He can move along the baseline. Not able to get anything off, and he'll call a timeout. So he'll give Keith Ergo a chance to draw something up. And for a team that can turn the ball over at times, the one time you can't really turn it over, get the ball in bounds, and then try to get to the free throw line.
And the timeouts aren't carrying over, so you may as well use them right there. It didn't look like Fordham was on the same page in the play they wanted to run, so a smart decision to look it over here. You look at Tulane, though, they don't have any timeouts, so I think the thought process of not originally calling it was letting Tulane talk about what they want to do when they potentially get the basketball back. Now you go back to the Fordham side. I think regardless, you have to find a way to get the ball in Darius Quisenberry's hands. I know he's missed 3 free throws in this one, but as we keep talking about and harping on, he's the leader of this team. You want the ball in his hands late, despite this game. He's your best free throw shooter, so get the ball in his hands.
And another thing, Ryan, is this is where the foul outs really become an issue for Fordham. Antro Charlton, one of their best passers, not in the game for this inbounds play. Abdul Simbila, one of their bigger targets, not in the game for this inbounds play. That's something that's going to be interesting for Fordham as they all line up on the goal line. We've seen this before out of the Rams. Almost like a football play. Everyone's going to run around on the baseline. Darius Quisenberry pushing people around. And I think Coach Ergo is going to say that he wants his guys in certain positions. They finally get the play call right. They pass it along the baseline to Kyle Rose. Pass now to Khalid Moore. Entry pass, they're going to foul him. So it's James that I think is going to get the foul called against him. And Khalid Moore will head to the free throw line.
And getting the ball in there is the most important decision. So a good job by Fordham with some misdirection in there, as you brought out. A bit of a football play. So, good job by the coordinators for Fordham right there. You get the ball to Khalid Moore, and this is a guy with all the experience. He's played in the March Madness tournament. 2 free throws at the line. You feel good about your chances.
So bend to the knees. He's got 2 free throws, and he misses the first free throw. So not the end of the world for Fordham. A free throw still makes it a 2-possession game, but they need to at least hit 1 here at the line. Crowd getting into it. 91-88 Fordham. 15.5 seconds on the game clock. Moore hits his second free throw. 92-88 Fordham. Inbounds play Tulane. Here comes Forbes. Tries to go up with it. No good. But he does get fouled against Darius Quisenberry. The fouls keep coming. And now it's going to be 2 free throws for Tulane.
If you're Fordham, you got to find a way to stop getting Tulane on the free throw line. Darius Quisenberry in disbelief. You see that Fordham bench. Everyone's hands are on their head, but regardless, the call keeps going against their way, and they keep giving Tulane chances.
10.5 seconds left on the game clock. 92-88 Fordham. Forbes this season heading into the game shot over 90% at the charity stripe. And so far today, he's a perfect 6 for 6. And the perfect doesn't change. He hits the first free throw. 10.5 seconds left, 3-point Fordham lead. Forbes a chance to cut it to 2. Bend to the knees, flick of the wrists, and it's good. Nothing but net. Perfect 8 for 8 at the line for Forbes. Inbounds play for Fordham. They're going to go back to it. Everyone on the free throw line baseline. Now Rose the inbounds. Can't really get it in. Finally finds Richardson, the freshman. He gets it across the timeline. Finds Nowitzki underneath, but he'll be fouled before he's able to get the shot pass off. And that will send Richardson to the free throw line.
Tulane just getting that foul off. A split second later, Richardson would have found Nowitzki in the paint for an easy dunk, likely putting this one away. And now you send a true freshman to the free throw line with his biggest opportunity of the year.
Not about his biggest opportunity of the season. So the refs will hold it. Richardson is a 3-time high school state champion. So he's used to this kind of environment and the pressure with something on the line. Now can he do it for Fordham? Hits the first free throw, 93-90, Fordham lead. He has a season-high 13 points tonight. He's 2 for 3 at the free throw line. This to make it a 4-point game. The entire Fordham team behind the 3-point line watching the freshman. His second free throw is good. Perfect 2 for 2 at the line, now a 4-point game. Tulane gets it in, shot, clock under 5. Cook takes it all the way, layup, no good, misses the layup, rebound Moore, and that might just about do it. 0.3 seconds on the shot clock, a missed layup by Cook, and the rebound by Moore all but ices the game for Fordham.
How about the composure of Will Richardson, Mike? We've talked about when you got guys found out, you need someone to step up. All we hear about is about the depth. How about a true freshman in this opportunity, drilling 2 free throws at the free throw line? You force Tulane to work quick. They're unable to get anything to go here. 0.3 seconds left. This one is wrapped up.
And I don't want to take it back to last game, but something Coach Ergo mentioned about Zach Riley's performance off the bench. He said it was a great message for freshmen to stay ready for your opportunities and make the most of them. Will Richardson just does that today. 14 points and the 2 biggest free throw line chances in the game. So Khalid Moore splits the trip at the line, 95-90 Tulane, but 0.3 seconds on the game clock. The buzzer will sound and Fordham will defeat Tulane. 95-90 is your final score. And the Rams are in their first road win of the season against a tough AAC opponent in Tulane and a top 100 team in the country.
Mike, I've been covering this team for 2 years now. I've called a lot of games. This is the most impressed I've ever been with a Fordham performance to come in here, an AAC team, a team that's, they're vying for an NCAA tournament bid. Fordham put up 95 points in their building, 6 guys in double figures. This was a complete team effort, 40 minutes of Fordham basketball to their finest. Such a feel-good win for the Rams.
When you think about last season, the offense was always the weakest point of this team. They put up 95 points today and battled every step of the way, as we will now be joined by Associate Head Coach Trey Woodall as he makes his way over. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
My mic on? Okay.
Okay,
I think it should be good.
Yep. Awesome.
There we
Coach,
go.
first road win of the season against a top 100 team. You guys battled back, got out to a huge lead in that second half. What was the difference in that second half?
We just tried to stick with our defensive principles. I thought our guys did a great job of executing the game plan. They stuck with it. They believed the whole way through, and it led us to a victory.
Now, there's so many different ways I could go, but I want to ask about Will Richardson. The composure down the stretch to hit those 2 free throws as a true freshman. How impressed were you with his performance here today?
To be honest with you, I'm not surprised, man. That kid works his tail off. I'm proud of him that he was able to step up in a big moment because he's our hardest worker on our team. And as a freshman, he doesn't carry himself as a freshman, so I'm not surprised that he stepped up in those big moments.
And, Coach, your team had to fight back a lot of runs by Tulane in that second half. What is it about your group that they're able to do such a good job at that?
They bring it every day in practice. This is a mature group. Our guys fight every single day in practice, on the court, obviously, and try to nail down defensive stops. We talk about kills. I think our guys did a great job of sticking together. We said the team that sticks together the most on the road is going to be the team that comes out victorious. And I'm proud of our guys.
Now, last question for you, Coach. Darius Quisenberry playing 39 minutes in this game, clearly hobbling up and down the court. How important is he to this team as a leader?
He's a fifth-year guy. He's seen it all. Before. He's been tremendous as a vocal leader for our guys as of late. And he did a great job of keeping our guys in it. Regardless, he understands how the game goes, the game of runs, and he made sure our guys were mentally dialed in. So he did a great job tonight.
Associate Head Coach Trey Woodall, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Congrats, Coach.
Thank you.
Congrats on the win. So, Ryan, before we send it back to our Rosso studios, I do want to ask you just thoughts. What did you come away with out of the game? First road win of the season for Fordham, but probably their biggest win of the season across any place.
The Keith Ergo era is here, Mike. You're now 8-1. You just won a game on the road versus an AAC team, so there's no more talking about the schedule. This was a legitimate win, a complete effort. This team has so much to feel good about. Now, as we head towards a stretch here, we'll see what they can come out with, see if they can keep this momentum going, but just such an impressive effort, and they really have arrived.
That's going to do it for our coverage from the Devlin Fieldhouse, but once again, Fordham gets the win 95-90 over Tulane. Let's send it back to our Rosso studios for the 1-on-1 postgame report with Thomas Aiello.
The one-on-one post-game report.
What a win, a signature one here in the first year of the Keith Ergo era. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the one-on-one post-game report. I'm Thomas Aiello. Joe Masters will be joining me as well. This is by far, the best game that the Fordham Rams have won in probably about 5 or 6 seasons. You beat a top 100 team in a very good American Athletic Conference, on the road no less, and a true freshman named Will Richardson was the hero of today. 14 points, 3 of 5 from the field, hitting 3 of 4 free throws. 2 of them were huge at the end. I mean, Darius Quisenberry and Khalid Moore with the big point totals. Rostik Nowitzki also had a game today, 14 and 9. Abdou Simbila gave 10 points as well. Total team effort against a Tulane team, as Ryan Gregware said, vying for an NCAA tournament bid. But Joe, this is a testament of what this Fordham team is. I think what we're going to see come league play. This was a really, really hard opponent. A lot of people, including me, I have to eat some crow on this. I did not think they were going to win. I really did not think they were going to win. I didn't even think it would be close. And they go down to Tulane, rather, and they beat the Green Wave by 5 points.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's blaming you for that. We talked about it at the halftime show. Tulane, a top 100 offense. Fordham was down 8 going into the half. And like we also talked about, second half team. They stormed back. 95 points for this Fordham team. That's amazing. And you saw a lot of guys just coming out of that break just completely turn around their day. And you mentioned the senior big man, Rostik Nowitzki, putting up 12 after only 2 in the first half. And like we talked about having to own the boards, 7 boards in the second half. That was huge. He provided a great presence, and Khalid Moore only had 3 points in that first half. Comes back out 17 to give him 20 on the day, which is just amazing for him. And like you said, you mentioned the true freshman, Will Richardson, career high for him. Those clutch free throws in Tulane. It's looking good for the Keith Ergo era.
So let's play a little game here, Joe. Let's go through all the things we said at halftime. Let's see if we were right. So the first one we said was Fordham has to win the rebounding battle. They did that. 43 totals for the Rams to Tulane's 36. The next one was, what did we say? Oh, we said Tulane has to keep up the shooting. Well, they did end the game going 27 of 62 from the field, which is, if you round up, 44%. That's still relatively good.
Mm-hmm.
Then we said for Fordham, they have had trouble defending the 3, right? That's something we said at the halftime. Tulane on the game shot 7 of 22 from the field. They went 2 of 10 from distance in the second half.
Yeah, and Tylen Pope, who was on fire in the first half from 3. Only 2 points in the second half. Shut him down completely. So that was huge for them. And you mentioned the rebounding. Tulane got outboarded 24-15 by Fordham in that second half. Just completely flipped the game script for Fordham. And it's a big reason why they came out on top, 8-1 now.
Now here's another one for you. The turnovers have been a theme for this Fordham team. 11 for them today. Tulane had 15. If you win the rebounding, the turnovers, and you can shoot well enough from the field, you're going to put yourself in a position to win a basketball game. That's just how this works in college basketball, right? You got to do those 3 things because it's not the NBA where you can turn the ball over and everyone scores 170 points. College, it's more every basket really matters. You got to get the details right. And Fordham really did that today. But all the credit in the world to Tulane and Ron Hunter's group. I mean, this was a really tough team. They had 2 monster dunks in the second half. We were watching on the stream, both of which were posters. The second one, maybe Abdou Simbila. We don't know if he really touched that guy on the way up, but it was close. But nonetheless, I mean, very much worthy of SportsCenter highlights. But they are a really good team. This is a team that's going to probably push a Houston or a Memphis in the American Athletic Conference. Maybe even they'll finish top 3. That's how good this team can be, and Fordham just beat them today.
Yeah, Tulane's a team that's looking towards March Madness, possibly, and Fordham came into their house and took care of business. And obviously the biggest test of the season so far was, you could say, Arkansas, higher-ranked team going into Arkansas.
Harvard was another one, right?
For sure. But going into Tulane here with the team and what their offense have shown so far this season, and coming from behind, which is almost just important as winning, is showing that resolve to come back in the second half. You got to be feeling good about Keith Ergo's squad here.
Oh, certainly feeling good about them. But that is going to about do it for us today here on WFUV Sports. We thank you all for joining us for our coverage of Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM. Once again, the final score, Fordham 95, Tulane 90. Our broadcasters for today down in New Orleans were Michael Calamari and Ryan Gregware. The man behind the glass was Sam Davis, and alongside Joe Masters on the updates, I'm Thomas Aiello saying so long from the Rose Hill Studios, and Fordham men's basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.